Think smart, act wisely, mastering critical thinking for real-world success. Chapter 1. The Power of Thought, Why Critical Thinking Matters. Critical thinking is one of the most powerful skills we can develop, yet it often goes underutilized or misunderstood. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and rapid change, the ability to think clearly, independently, and logically has become crucial. Critical thinking empowers us to evaluate information, identify biases, and make informed, rational choices. Whether we are making personal decisions, solving workplace problems, or navigating social issues, critical thinking is the foundation of effective action. This chapter will dive deep into why critical thinking is essential today and explore how cultivating a critical mindset can transform the way we perceive and interact with the world around us. The definition of critical thinking. Critical thinking is a disciplined approach to processing information. It involves assessing information objectively, evaluating evidence, and considering alternative viewpoints before forming conclusions. Critical thinkers question assumptions, avoid taking information at face value, and are skilled at identifying flaws or inconsistencies in arguments. They strive for accuracy, clarity, and logical coherence. Key components of critical thinking. Analysis, breaking down complex information into understandable parts. Evaluation, assessing the credibility, relevance, and accuracy of information. Inference, drawing reasonable conclusions based on evidence and logical reasoning. Explanation, communicating reasoning clearly and effectively. Self-regulation, reflecting on one's own biases, assumptions, and thinking process to continually improve. These components work together, enabling critical thinkers to make well-reasoned decisions in a structured and deliberate manner. However, developing these skills requires a shift in mindset that takes time, practice, and commitment. Why critical thinking matters today. The importance of critical thinking has never been more apparent than in our current environment. Below are several ways in which critical thinking is particularly relevant and valuable today. Navigating information overload. The digital age has made information readily accessible, but with an overwhelming volume of data comes the challenge of distinguishing between credible and unreliable sources. Critical thinking helps us sift through vast amounts of information, focus on what's essential, and ignore distractions. Identifying misinformation and bias. We are increasingly exposed to misinformation, from social media rumors to biased news reporting. Critical thinking enables us to evaluate the credibility of sources, recognize bias, and question the motives behind information. This skill is particularly crucial in an age where misinformation can influence public opinion, shape political outcomes, and affect individual choices. Enhancing decision-making skills. Critical thinking allows us to evaluate potential consequences and outcomes, which leads to better decision-making. By thinking critically, we can anticipate the effects of our choices and make informed, effective decisions that align with our values and goals. Problem solving in complex situations. Many of today's challenges are multifaceted, requiring careful analysis and creative solutions. Critical thinking equips us with tools to break down problems, consider various perspectives, and develop innovative approaches to solve them. Improving interpersonal communication. Clear, logical thinking leads to clear, logical communication. In personal and professional relationships, critical thinkers are better equipped to articulate their ideas, listen to others' viewpoints, and engage in constructive dialogue. They can navigate disagreements, understand others' perspectives, and find common ground in discussions. The benefits of a critical mindset. Cultivating a critical mindset brings numerous benefits that can profoundly impact all aspects of life. Increased self-awareness. Critical thinkers have a greater sense of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. They reflect on their own beliefs and values, recognize biases, and are open to changing their viewpoints when presented with compelling evidence. This self-awareness helps in personal growth and fosters resilience in facing challenges. Greater resilience and adaptability. A critical mindset prepares individuals to adapt to changing circumstances by helping them assess situations objectively. Critical thinkers are more likely to question why changes are occurring, explore alternatives, and adjust to new situations constructively. Enhanced career prospects. Critical thinking is highly valued in the professional world. Employers seek individuals who can analyze problems, think independently, and contribute thoughtfully to decision-making processes. In fields such as business, healthcare, education, and technology, critical thinking can be a significant asset that enhances career advancement and success. Improved mental health and well-being. A critical mindset can improve well-being by fostering a balanced outlook. When faced with adversity, critical thinkers are better equipped to cope constructively, reframing negative situations and finding practical solutions. This balanced approach can reduce stress and increase overall mental resilience. Empowerment in personal choices. Individuals with a critical mindset are more confident in their choices. They have clarity in their values and make decisions that align with their goals. This empowerment reduces regret and increases satisfaction with life's major decisions. The characteristics of a critical thinker. Critical thinkers share common characteristics that set them apart. These qualities form the backbone of a mindset focused on thoughtful analysis and open-mindedness. Curiosity. Critical thinkers are naturally curious and eager to learn. They ask questions, explore topics deeply, and have a thirst for understanding the why behind things. Open-mindedness. They are willing to consider alternative perspectives, even those that contradict their own beliefs. This open-mindedness allows them to engage in discussions with respect and humility. Skepticism. While not cynical, critical thinkers are cautious about accepting information without evidence. They approach claims with a healthy level of skepticism, seeking proof before forming opinions. Objectivity. They strive to remain objective and impartial in their assessments, minimizing personal biases and focusing on factual information. Independence. Critical thinkers value independent thought and are not easily swayed by popular opinion. They take responsibility for their judgments and are not afraid to stand by their convictions. Reflectiveness. They regularly reflect on their thinking processes, learning from experiences and continually refining their thought patterns. Developing a critical mindset. Developing a critical mindset is a journey that involves awareness, practice, and dedication. Below are steps that can help in fostering this mindset. Be aware of cognitive biases. Everyone has biases that shape their thoughts, often unconsciously. By learning about common biases such as confirmation bias, anchoring bias, and availability heuristic, you can begin to recognize and minimize their influence. Practice active listening. Listening to understand, rather than to respond, is key to critical thinking. Practice active listening by focusing fully on what others are saying, asking questions to clarify, and suspending judgment until you have all the information. Ask open-ended questions. Cultivate curiosity by asking open-ended questions that promote discussion and exploration. These questions often begin with why, how, and what if, and encourage deeper reflection. Engage in reflective thinking. Make it a habit to reflect on your day-to-day decisions and judgments. Consider what influenced your choices and whether they align with your values and goals. This practice of self-reflection can reveal patterns in your thinking that may need improvement. Seek out diverse perspectives. Challenge yourself by exposing yourself to different viewpoints and ideas. Engaging with diverse perspectives can expand your understanding, challenge your beliefs, and refine your critical thinking skills. The ripple effect of critical thinking. The benefits of critical thinking extend beyond personal gains, they impact society at large. When individuals think critically, they contribute to healthier, more informed communities. Social change, innovation, and progress are often driven by those who question assumptions, think independently, and seek evidence-based solutions. By cultivating a critical mindset, we not only improve our lives but also contribute to a more thoughtful, empowered, and rational society. Conclusion. In a world where clear thinking is often overshadowed by misinformation, emotion, and haste, critical thinking provides a path to clarity and wisdom. This chapter has introduced the concept of critical thinking, its components, and its essential role in today's society. By exploring the characteristics of critical thinkers and practical steps to foster this mindset, you are now equipped with a foundation to begin your journey in mastering critical thinking skills. The next chapters will dive deeper into the mechanics of thought, from questioning techniques to emotional intelligence, setting you on the path from insight to action. Chapter 2. Unpacking thought processes, how we think. Understanding how we think is essential to becoming better critical thinkers. Human cognition is a fascinating yet complex process, influenced by experiences, environment, biology, and a variety of cognitive shortcuts called heuristics. We are equipped with powerful mental faculties to analyze information, solve problems, and make decisions. However, our thinking is often guided or misguided by certain biases, emotions, and mental shortcuts. This chapter explores how our brains process information, the roles of heuristics and biases, and ways to recognize these tendencies. By understanding how thought processes function, we can learn to identify when our minds may stray from objective reasoning and work toward more rational, balanced decisions. The basics of human cognition. At the most fundamental level, thinking involves the reception, interpretation, and processing of information. This information could be sensory, such as visual or auditory input, emotional, or a mix of both. When we encounter any form of input, our brain goes through several steps. Perception. First, we perceive stimuli through our senses. This initial step involves filtering and categorizing what we see, hear, or feel. Interpretation. Next, we interpret the input based on our prior experiences, beliefs, and expectations. This phase is highly subjective, as two people can perceive the same input differently. Evaluation. In this stage, we analyze and evaluate the information. We determine if it aligns with what we already know or challenges our beliefs. Response. Finally, we form a response or decision. This could involve making a judgment, drawing a conclusion, or taking action. While these steps seem straightforward, they are often complicated by mental shortcuts, known as heuristics, and various cognitive biases that shape our interpretations and evaluations. Understanding heuristics, our mental shortcuts. Heuristics are cognitive shortcuts that allow us to make decisions quickly. In many situations, heuristics are helpful, as they save time and allow us to react rapidly. However, they can also lead to systematic errors in thinking, as they bypass a more thorough analysis. Some common heuristics include availability heuristic. The availability heuristic is the tendency to base judgments on the information that is most readily available in memory. For example, after hearing about a plane crash, a person might overestimate the risk of flying, even though statistically, air travel is safe. This heuristic can make us overestimate the frequency or likelihood of dramatic or memorable events. Representativeness heuristic. This heuristic involves judging the probability of something based on how closely it resembles other cases. For example, if someone meets a person who is quiet and enjoys reading, they might assume that person is a librarian rather than, say, a lawyer or salesperson. While the representativeness heuristic can be useful, it often leads to stereotyping or faulty assumptions. Anchoring and adjustment heuristic. The anchoring heuristic is when we rely too heavily on an initial piece of information, that anchor, when making decisions. For instance, if someone sees a high price on an item first, they might believe any subsequent, lower price is a good deal, even if it's still overpriced. Affect heuristic. The affect heuristic involves making decisions based on emotions rather than objective reasoning. If we feel positively about a person or product, we might overlook flaws. Conversely, negative emotions can lead us to exaggerate perceived risks or downsides. While heuristics can simplify complex decisions, they often come at the cost of accuracy and objectivity. By recognizing when we are relying on heuristics, we can pause and think critically rather than automatically. Cognitive biases, the hidden influencers of thought. Cognitive biases are systematic errors in thinking that affect our judgments and decisions. While heuristics are shortcuts, biases are the unintended byproducts of these shortcuts, often rooted in our brain's need to make sense of information quickly. Some widely studied biases include confirmation bias. One of the most pervasive cognitive biases, confirmation bias, is the tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs or values. For example, if someone believes that a particular political stance is harmful, they might selectively focus on information that supports this view while ignoring contradictory evidence. Overconfidence bias. This bias occurs when individuals overestimate their knowledge, abilities, or the accuracy of their judgments. Overconfidence bias can lead to risky decisions, as people might ignore possible risks or overrate their ability to manage situations. Hindsight bias. Also known as the knew-it-all-along effect, hindsight bias is the tendency to see events as more predictable after they have happened. For example, after a stock market crash, people might claim they saw it coming, though in reality, predicting such events is rarely straightforward. Attribution bias. This bias affects how we interpret other people's behavior. For instance, we may attribute someone's success to luck but attribute our own success to hard work, a tendency known as self-serving bias. Fundamental attribution error. Another form of attribution bias is when we blame others' behavior on their personality while attributing our behavior to external circumstances. Status quo bias. People often favor things that are familiar or comfortable, even if better options are available. Status quo bias can lead to resistance to change, even when change may be beneficial. This bias can limit personal growth, innovation, and adaptability. Recognizing and addressing biases in thought. Recognizing cognitive biases in oneself is challenging but essential for critical thinking. Here are some techniques for identifying and counteracting biases. Awareness and self-reflection. Regularly reflecting on one's thoughts and decisions can reveal patterns of bias. Journaling, for instance, can help us see when we tend to interpret situations based on preconceived beliefs. By becoming aware of these tendencies, we can consciously work to avoid them. Seek diverse perspectives. Exposing oneself to different viewpoints is one of the most effective ways to counteract biases. For example, if you tend to favor a particular viewpoint, engage with credible sources that offer opposing perspectives. This practice broadens understanding and challenges confirmation bias. Consider alternative explanations. When interpreting information or making a decision, take time to think about multiple explanations or outcomes. Rather than settling on the first plausible answer, consider a range of possibilities to avoid anchoring in overconfidence biases. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, the practice of focusing on the present moment, helps individuals observe their thoughts without immediate judgment. By creating a mental space between thought and reaction, mindfulness can reduce the impact of affective heuristics and emotional responses. Set aside time for deliberate thinking. Many biases occur because we rush to judgment. Allocating time to think through decisions thoughtfully can help counteract these tendencies. A simple pause or a short break can clear the mind and provide perspective, reducing the influence of heuristics. The role of emotion in thought. While biases and heuristics often undermine objective thinking, emotions also play a central role. Emotions can influence judgment, motivation, and decisions in both positive and negative ways. Emotions can cloud logic, but they also provide essential information that rational thought may overlook. When emotions support critical thinking. Inspiring empathy. Emotions like empathy encourage us to consider others' perspectives, leading to more nuanced and compassionate judgments. Highlighting core values. Emotions can remind us of what is truly important to us, aligning our decisions with our core values. Alerting to potential threats. Negative emotions like anxiety and fear, when rational, can prompt us to assess risks more carefully and make prudent decisions. When emotions hinder critical thinking. Reactive decision-making. Strong emotions like anger or excitement can lead to impulsive decisions that we later regret. Distorted perception. Emotions can exaggerate or minimize details. For instance, a happy mood might make us overlook potential risks, while sadness may make us overly cautious. Bias reinforcement. Emotions often intensify cognitive biases, especially confirmation bias, as we seek out information that aligns with our current emotional state. Learning to identify when emotions are guiding our thoughts allows us to balance emotional insight with rational judgment. Conclusion. Understanding our thought processes, including heuristics, biases, and the role of emotion, is essential to effective critical thinking. This chapter has laid the groundwork for identifying common thinking patterns, both helpful and detrimental. By recognizing heuristics and biases, we gain greater control over our decisions and improve our ability to analyze information objectively. Emotions, while inevitable, can be managed so they contribute to, rather than detract from, logical reasoning. With this understanding, we are better equipped to confront cognitive obstacles and approach challenges with a clear, rational mind. The following chapters will build on this foundation by exploring techniques that strengthen critical thinking skills, from asking purposeful questions to interpreting and analyzing information. Chapter 3. Barriers to Clear Thinking, Recognizing Obstacles. Critical thinking is a powerful tool that empowers individuals to make informed decisions and solve problems effectively. However, this process is often hindered by various barriers that can cloud judgment and impede clear thinking. In this chapter, we will identify common mental, social, and emotional obstacles that prevent clear thinking and provide strategies for overcoming them. By recognizing these barriers, readers can develop a more objective and rational approach to their thinking, ultimately enhancing their critical thinking skills. Understanding barriers to clear thinking. Barriers to clear thinking can be broadly categorized into three groups: mental barriers, social barriers, and emotional barriers. Each of these categories encompasses specific challenges that can affect our ability to think critically and make sound decisions. Mental barriers. Mental barriers arise from cognitive processes that can distort our thinking. Some common mental barriers include confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information that confirms one's existing beliefs or hypotheses while disregarding contradictory evidence. For example, a person who believes in a particular political ideology may only consume news that supports their viewpoint, leading to a skewed understanding of reality. Overconfidence effect. This cognitive bias occurs when individuals overestimate their knowledge or abilities. Overconfidence can lead to poor decision-making as individuals may dismiss valuable input from others or neglect necessary research. Anchoring effect. This is the tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information encountered, than anchor, when making decisions. For instance, if a person initially hears a high price for a product, they may judge subsequent prices in relation to that anchor, even if the initial price was inflated. Mental set. This refers to the tendency to approach problems in a specific way based on past experiences. While mental sets can be beneficial, they can also hinder creativity and flexibility in problem solving when the situation requires a different approach. Social barriers. Social barriers stem from interpersonal dynamics and group interactions that can influence individual thinking. Key social barriers include groupthink. This phenomenon occurs when the desire for harmony and conformity within a group leads to irrational or dysfunctional decision-making. Members may suppress dissenting viewpoints or fail to critically evaluate alternative options. Groupthink can result in poor outcomes, as group members prioritize consensus over critical analysis. Social pressure. Individuals often feel compelled to conform to the beliefs or behaviors of those around them, especially in group settings. This social pressure can stifle independent thinking and discourage individuals from expressing their true opinions or challenging the status quo. Cultural bias. Cultural norms and values can shape our perceptions and interpretations of information. Cultural bias can lead to misunderstandings and misinterpretations, particularly in diverse environments where different perspectives are present. Emotional barriers. Emotional barriers arise from feelings and attitudes that can cloud judgment and impede clear thinking. Important emotional barriers include fear of failure. Fear of making mistakes or facing criticism can paralyze decision-making. Individuals may avoid taking risks or exploring new ideas due to the anxiety associated with potential failure. Emotional reasoning. This is the tendency to let emotions guide thinking and decision-making. For example, a person who is angry may interpret a neutral comment as an attack, leading to defensive or irrational responses. Stress and anxiety. High levels of stress can impair cognitive function, making it challenging to think clearly and focus. Stress may lead to rushed decisions or a reliance on heuristics that oversimplify complex problems. Recognizing personal barriers. To overcome barriers to clear thinking, individuals must first recognize and acknowledge their personal obstacles. Here are some strategies to help identify these barriers. Self-reflection. Regular self-reflection can help individuals become more aware of their thinking patterns, biases, and emotional responses. Keeping a journal or engaging in mindfulness practices can enhance self-awareness. Seeking feedback. Actively seeking feedback from peers or mentors can provide valuable insights into one's thinking processes. Constructive criticism can highlight blind spots and encourage individuals to consider alternative viewpoints. Identifying triggers, recognizing situations that trigger mental, social, or emotional barriers can help individuals prepare for challenges. By understanding what influences their thinking, individuals can develop strategies to counteract these triggers. Strategies for overcoming barriers to clear thinking. Once individuals have identified their barriers to clear thinking, they can implement strategies to overcome them. Here are some effective approaches. Counteracting mental barriers. Challenge your assumptions, actively question your beliefs and assumptions. Ask yourself whether you have considered alternative explanations or viewpoints. Seek diverse perspectives, engage with individuals who hold different beliefs or opinions. Exposure to diverse perspectives can challenge your thinking and expand your understanding. Embrace uncertainty, accept that uncertainty is a natural part of decision-making. Instead of striving for absolute certainty, focus on gathering information and making the best decision based on available evidence. Addressing social barriers. Encourage open dialogue, foster an environment where diverse opinions are welcomed and valued. Encourage team members to share their thoughts openly without fear of judgment. Establish decision-making protocols, implement structured decision-making processes that include input from all team members. Techniques such as brainstorming sessions and anonymous voting can help mitigate the impact of groupthink. Build cultural competence, develop an awareness of cultural biases and actively seek to understand different perspectives. Engage in cultural training and promote inclusivity within teams. Managing emotional barriers. Practice emotional regulation, learn techniques to manage emotions, such as deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness. These practices can help reduce stress and improve focus. Reframe failure, shift your perspective on failure. View it as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than a reflection of your worth or abilities. Create a supportive environment, surround yourself with individuals who encourage constructive feedback and foster a growth mindset. Supportive relationships can help mitigate the fear of failure and encourage open exploration of ideas. Conclusion: fostering clear thinking. Recognizing and overcoming barriers to clear thinking is essential for developing effective critical thinking skills. By understanding the mental, social, and emotional obstacles that impede our thinking, we can adopt strategies to counteract them. This proactive approach not only enhances our decision-making and problem-solving abilities but also promotes a culture of critical thinking in our personal and professional environments. As we move forward, remember that critical thinking is a continuous journey. By fostering awareness of our barriers and committing to ongoing improvement, we can navigate complex situations with greater clarity and confidence, leading to more informed and rational outcomes. Chapter 4. Questioning Techniques, the art of asking the right questions. Critical thinking is often described as the art of asking the right questions. Effective questioning is a skill that allows us to unlock deeper understanding, challenge assumptions, and approach problems from fresh angles. In today's complex world, where information overload and ambiguity are common, the ability to ask purposeful questions has never been more valuable. This chapter will explore different questioning techniques, how to apply them to various situations, and why thoughtful questions are essential for sharpening critical thinking skills. We will examine open-ended, clarifying, probing, and reflective questions and discuss when and how to use each type to explore ideas, analyze problems, and foster insightful discussions. The purpose and power of questioning. The goal of critical questioning is not just to receive answers but to expand understanding, uncover assumptions, and stimulate thought. Questioning helps break down complex ideas, evaluate information critically, and enhance communication. By asking the right questions, we can clarify information. Effective questioning helps ensure we understand all details, reducing ambiguity and enhancing our grasp of information. Clear understanding is essential to sound decision-making. Challenge assumptions. Many ideas and beliefs operate on assumptions that are often unexamined. By questioning these assumptions, we can reveal biases, uncover flaws in logic, and identify gaps in reasoning. Encourage reflection. Well-posed questions stimulate reflection, encouraging others to think about their beliefs, attitudes, and choices in greater depth. This reflection is key to personal and intellectual growth. Stimulate creative thinking. Good questions are a gateway to creativity, prompting people to consider alternative perspectives and explore new possibilities. Build confidence and autonomy. By asking questions rather than providing answers, we empower others to think independently, build confidence, and develop their decision-making skills. Mastering questioning techniques enables us to navigate conversations, interviews, debates, and personal reflections with depth and clarity. The following sections introduce various types of questions and explain how each type can contribute to critical thinking. Types of questions and when to use them. The effectiveness of questioning depends on knowing which types of questions to ask in specific contexts. Each type serves a unique purpose and, when used thoughtfully, can drive deeper understanding. Open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are broad and allow for expansive responses. Rather than being answerable with a simple yes or no, open-ended questions invite reflection, analysis, and elaboration. These questions are ideal for exploring ideas and gathering information without limiting responses. Purpose: to encourage exploration, insight, and discussion. When to use open-ended questions to begin a conversation, invite perspectives, or explore ideas without restricting the respondent's thoughts. Examples. What are the possible outcomes of this decision? How do you interpret these results? What factors do you think are influencing this situation? Technique tip: to ask effective open-ended questions, focus on starting questions with words like how, what, why, and in what ways. Avoid leading questions that imply a particular answer, as these can restrict open exploration. Clarifying questions. Clarifying questions aim to reduce ambiguity and ensure everyone has a shared understanding of a topic. These questions help clear up confusion, especially when information seems vague or incomplete. They also help identify assumptions or misunderstandings early in the discussion. Purpose: to gain a clear understanding and eliminate ambiguity. When to use clarifying questions whenever you encounter unclear or ambiguous information, or if you suspect that assumptions are influencing the conversation. Examples. Can you explain what you mean by? Could you clarify the main objective here? What are you assuming when you say? Technique tip: use phrases such as, can you clarify, could you explain further, or what exactly do you mean by? These prompts encourage respondents to provide detail, enhancing the clarity and depth of their explanations. Probing questions. Probing questions dig deeper into specific aspects of a topic, pushing beyond surface-level responses. They are essential for uncovering motivations, testing assumptions, and encouraging critical examination of an issue. Probing questions are often used in research, interviews, and discussions where deeper insight is needed. Purpose: to explore deeper insights and uncover underlying reasons or assumptions. When to use probing questions to drill down into particular areas that need more analysis, especially after receiving an initial response. Examples. Why do you think that approach will work? What evidence supports your view? How would this approach address the root cause? Technique tip: probing questions often start with why, how, or what if. The key is to follow up on initial answers with curiosity, seeking more specifics and challenging respondents to think further. Reflective questions. Reflective questions encourage self-assessment and introspection, prompting individuals to examine their thoughts, experiences, and decisions. These questions are valuable for personal growth, learning, and uncovering deeper motivations and feelings. Purpose: to encourage introspection and foster self-awareness. When to use reflective questions in situations involving personal decisions, goal setting, or reviewing past experiences. Examples. How did you arrive at that decision? What did you learn from that experience? How do you feel about the outcome? Technique tip: reflective questions are most effective when asked in a supportive, non-judgmental way. Use these questions to create an environment that promotes openness and self-discovery. Questioning techniques for specific critical thinking goals. Different scenarios require specific types of questions. Below are questioning techniques tailored to common critical thinking goals. Identifying assumptions. Many arguments and beliefs rest on unspoken assumptions. Identifying and examining these assumptions is critical to ensuring sound reasoning. Technique: use probing and clarifying questions. Sample questions. What are you assuming in this argument? Could there be other explanations for this outcome? What would change if we questioned this assumption? Example scenario: in a discussion about implementing a new workplace policy, a participant suggests it will improve productivity. By asking, "What assumptions are we making about how employees will respond?" you prompt a closer look at whether there may be unintended consequences. Evaluating evidence. Evaluating evidence involves asking questions to assess the credibility, relevance, and accuracy of information. Technique: use probing and clarifying questions focused on sources and methods. Sample questions. What evidence supports this claim? How reliable is the source of this information? What other sources of information could provide a balanced perspective? Example scenario: when assessing a claim about a new medical treatment, ask questions such as, "What studies were conducted, and how were the results measured?" This approach ensures that the evidence has been rigorously evaluated. Considering alternatives. Critical thinking involves exploring various perspectives and solutions. By asking questions that prompt consideration of alternatives, we open up the conversation to a broader range of possibilities. Technique: use open-ended and probing questions that challenge current perspectives. Sample questions. What other approaches might work here? How might we achieve this goal differently? What could be the long-term effects of an alternative strategy? Example scenario: when planning a project, a team initially considers one strategy. Asking, "What are some alternative methods we could try?" expands their view, potentially leading to more innovative or effective solutions. The role of active listening in effective questioning. Asking questions is only one part of effective questioning. Active listening is equally essential. When we truly listen, we validate the speaker's thoughts, recognize emotional cues, and demonstrate genuine curiosity. Focusing on the speaker, give the speaker your full attention, avoiding distractions. Listening attentively allows you to respond thoughtfully and build trust. Reflecting and summarizing, restate key points to confirm understanding and ensure clarity. For instance, saying, "If I understand correctly, you're saying," signals that you're engaged in the conversation. Avoiding judgment, listen with an open mind, even if you disagree with what's being said. By suspending judgment, we encourage honest dialogue and prevent defensive reactions. Asking follow-up questions, respond to statements with additional questions that encourage elaboration. This technique keeps the conversation focused and helps clarify complex ideas. Practical exercises to build questioning skills. Developing questioning skills requires practice. Here are some exercises to help strengthen your ability to ask critical questions in everyday situations. Daily reflection: spend a few minutes each day reflecting on an experience, goal, or problem by asking yourself open-ended and reflective questions. Question the news: pick a news article and critically analyze it by asking questions about the sources, evidence, and assumptions. This practice builds habits for evaluating information. Debate practice: engage in a friendly debate where you use clarifying, probing, and challenging questions to better understand the other person's perspective. Focus on questions that encourage thoughtful responses rather than focusing on winning the argument. Conclusion: mastering the art of asking questions is central to becoming a skilled critical thinker. By choosing questions thoughtfully and practicing active listening, we open pathways to deeper understanding, reveal hidden assumptions, and encourage constructive dialogue. Chapter 5. Observation and Interpretation: Sharpening Awareness. Observation is more than just seeing, it is an active process that requires attention, engagement, and critical analysis. Our ability to observe accurately directly influences how we interpret information, form conclusions, and make decisions. In a world overflowing with data, visuals, and stimuli, the skill of observing effectively can be the difference between success and failure, clarity and confusion. In this chapter, we will explore how to enhance observational skills, interpret facts accurately, and distinguish between objective data and subjective impressions. We will also examine the importance of context in observation and provide practical techniques and exercises to help you sharpen your awareness in everyday situations. The importance of observation in critical thinking. Effective observation lays the groundwork for critical thinking. It enables us to gather information accurately and discern essential details that may not be immediately evident. Here are several reasons why honing observational skills is vital. Foundation for analysis. Observation is the first step in the analytical process. It allows us to gather data, recognize patterns, and identify anomalies that merit further investigation. Informed decision-making. Accurate observations provide the facts needed for making informed decisions. Without reliable data, our choices may be based on assumptions or incomplete information. Enhanced communication. Good observers are often better communicators. They can convey information clearly and persuasively because they have accurately perceived and understood the situation. Emotional intelligence. Observational skills enhance emotional intelligence by enabling us to read nonverbal cues, body language, and emotional states in ourselves and others. This insight can improve interpersonal relationships and facilitate effective collaboration. Recognizing bias. Developing observational skills allows individuals to recognize their own biases and those of others. This awareness is crucial for objectivity and rational thought. Distinguishing between objective data and subjective impressions. Understanding the difference between objective data and subjective impressions is fundamental to effective observation. Objective data, facts that are verifiable, measurable, and universally agreed upon. Objective data remains constant regardless of individual perspectives. For example, the temperature recorded by a thermometer is objective. Subjective impressions, personal interpretations or feelings that can vary widely between individuals. Subjective impressions are influenced by personal experiences, biases, and emotions. For instance, one person may find a room warm and inviting, while another may perceive it as hot and uncomfortable. Techniques to differentiate. Fact versus opinion. Ask yourself whether the information presented can be supported by empirical evidence. For example, is this statement based on measurable data or personal opinion? Quantitative versus qualitative. Determine whether the information is quantifiable, e.g., statistics, or qualitative, e.g., descriptive feedback. This helps clarify whether the data is objective or subjective. Seeking corroboration. When encountering subjective impressions, seek additional sources or perspectives that provide objective data to validate or challenge the subjective view. Enhancing observation skills. Improving observational skills involves practice and intention. Here are several techniques to enhance your ability to observe effectively. Mindfulness practices. Mindfulness techniques, such as meditation or focused breathing, help improve attention and awareness. By training your mind to stay present, you enhance your capacity to observe details in your environment. Exercise. Spend a few minutes each day in quiet reflection, focusing on your breathing. Gradually expand your awareness to include your surroundings. Notice the sounds, colors, and movements around you without judgment. Engage your senses. Utilize all 5 senses when observing. Take note of what you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. Engaging multiple senses can provide a richer understanding of a situation. Exercise. During a walk, consciously engage your senses. What do you see? What sounds are present? What scents are in the air? Make a mental note or write down your observations. Practice active observation. Develop the habit of observing deliberately. When you enter a new environment, take a moment to survey your surroundings before engaging in conversation or activity. Exercise. In a new setting, spend 5 minutes observing before interacting. Note the layout, people's behaviors, and any notable details. Afterward, compare your observations with those of others who were present. Use observation checklists. Create a checklist tailored to specific contexts, e.g., meetings, social gatherings, to guide your observation. This will help you focus on essential details. Exercise. In a meeting, prepare a checklist of aspects to observe: body language, group dynamics, or the tone of discussions. Afterward, reflect on your observations in relation to the meeting outcomes. The role of context in observation. The context in which observation occurs significantly influences interpretation. Context includes the environment, circumstances, and background information surrounding an event or situation. Being aware of context helps prevent misinterpretations and enhances critical thinking. Cultural context. Different cultures have varying norms and values that shape behaviors and expressions. What may seem inappropriate in one culture could be entirely acceptable in another. Understanding cultural context can help you interpret observations accurately. Situational context. The situation surrounding an event influences how it is perceived. For instance, a person's behavior at a party may differ significantly from their behavior in a professional setting. Temporal context. The timing of observations can change their meaning. Events viewed at different times or under different circumstances may lead to different interpretations. Techniques for considering context. Ask questions. To understand context, ask questions about the situation. Who is involved? What is the background? Why is this event happening now? Gather background information. Before making judgments based on observations, gather relevant background information to contextualize your findings. Interpretation of observations. Once observations are made, the next step is interpretation. Interpretation involves making sense of what has been observed and drawing conclusions based on available data. Analyzing patterns. Look for patterns or trends in your observations. Identifying patterns can lead to insights about underlying causes or motivations. Drawing inferences. Use your observations to make inferences about behaviors, attitudes, and potential outcomes. Be careful to differentiate between what is directly observed and what is inferred. Testing hypotheses. Formulate hypotheses based on your observations and test them against additional data or evidence. This scientific approach enhances objectivity and minimizes biases. Seeking diverse perspectives. Engage with others to gather their interpretations of the same observations. Different viewpoints can illuminate aspects you may have missed or challenge your conclusions. Practical exercises for observation and interpretation. Observation journals. Keep a daily journal dedicated to observations. Note your surroundings, people's behaviors, and any interesting details. Reflect on these observations to enhance your interpretation skills. Role-playing scenarios. Engage in role-playing exercises where one person acts out a scenario while others observe. Afterward, discuss observations and interpretations to develop critical thinking. Case studies. Analyze real-world case studies and discuss the observations made within the context provided. Focus on distinguishing between objective facts and subjective interpretations. Debriefing sessions. After group activities or meetings, conduct debriefing sessions to discuss observations. Encourage team members to share their perspectives and interpretations. Conclusion. The ability to observe keenly and interpret information accurately is fundamental to effective critical thinking. By honing your observational skills, distinguishing between objective data and subjective impressions, and understanding the role of context, you will be better equipped to navigate complex situations, make informed decisions, and engage meaningfully with the world around you. As we progress through this book, remember that observation and interpretation are continuous processes. By applying the techniques outlined in this chapter, you will not only sharpen your awareness but also enhance your overall critical thinking skills. In the next chapter, we will explore the fundamentals of logic and analysis, building on the observational skills you have developed to connect the dots and understand complex ideas more effectively. Chapter 6. Logic and Analysis, Connecting the Dots. Logic and analysis form the backbone of critical thinking, allowing us to break down complex information and make informed decisions based on clear reasoning. While emotions and intuition play a role in our thoughts, a structured approach is necessary to navigate challenges, draw conclusions, and solve problems effectively. This chapter will delve into the principles of logic, types of reasoning, methods of analysis, and practical strategies to enhance your logical thinking skills. Understanding logic. Logic is the study of valid reasoning. It involves understanding how to form arguments, identify fallacies, and evaluate the soundness of reasoning. There are two primary types of logic, deductive and inductive. Deductive logic. Deductive reasoning begins with a general premise or hypothesis and leads to a specific conclusion. If the premises are true, the conclusion must also be true. This form of logic is often structured as syllogisms. Example. Premise 1, all humans are mortal. Premise 2, Socrates is a human. Conclusion, therefore, Socrates is mortal. Deductive reasoning is useful in fields such as mathematics, science, and philosophy, where conclusions must follow logically from established truths. Inductive logic. Inductive reasoning starts with specific observations and builds toward a general conclusion. Unlike deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning does not guarantee the truth of the conclusion, but it can provide strong evidence. Example. Observation, the sun has risen in the east every morning. Conclusion, therefore, the sun will rise in the east tomorrow. Inductive reasoning is commonly used in scientific research, where hypotheses are formed based on patterns observed in data. The importance of logical thinking in analysis. Logical thinking is crucial for several reasons. Clarity and precision. Logical reasoning helps clarify thoughts and articulate arguments effectively. It eliminates ambiguity and ensures that ideas are expressed coherently. Identifying fallacies. Understanding logical fallacies, errors in reasoning that undermine the logic of an argument, allows individuals to critically evaluate arguments presented by others. Recognizing these fallacies can protect against misinformation and manipulation. Improved problem solving. Logical analysis enables individuals to dissect problems, identify root causes, and explore potential solutions systematically. Common logical fallacies. Recognizing logical fallacies is essential for effective reasoning. Here are some common types. Ad hominem, attacking the person rather than addressing the argument. Example, you can't trust John's opinion on climate change, he's not a scientist. Strawman, misrepresenting an opponent's argument to make it easier to attack. Example, vegetarians want to take away everyone's right to eat meat. Appeal to authority, asserting a claim is true because an authority figure believes it, without presenting further evidence. Example, the CEO of a major corporation believes this diet works, so it must be effective. Slippery slope, arguing that a small action will lead to significant and undesirable consequences. Example, if we allow students to redo tests, soon they won't take any assessments seriously. False dichotomy, presenting two options as the only possibilities when, in fact, more options exist. Example, you're either with us, or you're against us. By familiarizing yourself with these fallacies, you will be better equipped to analyze arguments critically and avoid errors in your reasoning. Techniques for logical analysis. To enhance your logical thinking, consider employing the following techniques. Argument mapping. Argument mapping is a visual representation of the structure of an argument. It allows you to see the relationships between premises and conclusions, making it easier to analyze the soundness of the argument. Exercise, take a complex argument you encounter, e.g., in an article or debate, and map it out. Identify the main claim, supporting premises, and any counterarguments. Socratic questioning. Socratic questioning involves asking a series of probing questions to challenge assumptions and explore deeper implications. This method encourages critical analysis and clarifies thoughts. Example questions. What do you mean by that? How did you arrive at this conclusion? What evidence supports your claim? Are there alternative perspectives to consider? Evaluating evidence. Assess the credibility and relevance of evidence used in arguments. Consider the source, methodology, and context of the evidence. Checklist for evaluating evidence. Is the source credible? Is the evidence up to date and relevant? What methodology was used to gather the evidence? Are there any potential biases in the presentation of the evidence? Identifying assumptions. Every argument rests on underlying assumptions that may not be explicitly stated. Identifying these assumptions helps evaluate the validity of the argument. Exercise, when analyzing an argument, ask yourself what assumptions the author is making. Are these assumptions justified? Analyzing complex problems. When faced with complex problems, breaking them down into smaller, manageable parts can enhance your analytical skills. Follow these steps. Define the problem, clearly articulate what the problem is. A well-defined problem is easier to analyze. Exercise, write down the problem in one sentence. Ensure that it captures the essence of what you are trying to solve. Gather information, collect relevant data and evidence related to the problem. This may involve research, observations, or consultations with experts. Break down the problem, divide the problem into its components. This helps to analyze each part systematically. Example: if the problem is declining sales, consider factors such as market trends, customer feedback, product quality, and marketing effectiveness. Identify relationships. Explore the relationships between different components of the problem. Look for patterns or trends that may provide insights. Develop solutions. Generate potential solutions based on your analysis. Evaluate the feasibility, risks, and potential outcomes of each solution. Implement and review. Choose the best solution and implement it. After implementation, review the results to evaluate effectiveness and learn from the experience. Practical exercises for logic and analysis. Debate practice. Engage in debates on various topics. This activity forces you to articulate your arguments logically and analyze opposing viewpoints. Critical reading. When reading articles or opinion pieces, take notes on the arguments presented. Identify premises, conclusions, and any logical fallacies. Real-life case studies. Analyze real-life scenarios or case studies relevant to your field. Identify the arguments presented and evaluate their logical structure. Group discussions. Participate in group discussions where members present different viewpoints. Challenge each other's reasoning to foster a deeper understanding of the issues. Daily reflection. Spend time reflecting on your decisions and reasoning processes. Analyze any logical errors or biases you may have encountered throughout the day. Conclusion. Logic and analysis are integral to mastering critical thinking. By understanding the principles of logical reasoning, recognizing fallacies, and employing techniques for effective analysis, you can sharpen your decision-making skills and enhance your problem-solving abilities. As you practice these skills, remember that critical thinking is a continuous journey. The more you engage with logical reasoning, the more adept you will become at connecting the dots and navigating the complexities of the real world. In the next chapter, we will explore the intersection of emotional intelligence and critical thinking, discussing how emotions influence decision-making and how to balance emotional responses with rational analysis. Chapter 7. Emotional Intelligence in Critical Thinking. Emotional intelligence, EI, is the ability to understand, manage, and utilize emotions effectively in ourselves and others. In the realm of critical thinking, EI plays a crucial role in shaping how we process information, make decisions, and interact with others. This chapter will explore the interplay between emotional intelligence and critical thinking, illustrating how heightened emotional awareness can enhance analytical capabilities and decision-making processes. Understanding emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence can be broken down into 4 core components. Self-awareness, the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions. Self-aware individuals can identify their emotional triggers and understand how their feelings influence their thoughts and actions. Self-management, this involves regulating one's emotions, especially in stressful situations. Individuals with strong self-management skills can remain calm under pressure, control impulsive reactions, and adapt to changing circumstances. Social awareness, the ability to empathize with others and understand their emotional states. Socially aware individuals can read social cues and respond appropriately, which is essential in collaborative environments. Relationship management, this refers to the ability to build and maintain healthy relationships through effective communication and conflict resolution. Individuals skilled in relationship management can influence and inspire others while managing conflicts constructively. The connection between emotional intelligence and critical thinking. Emotional intelligence enhances critical thinking in several key ways. Improved decision-making, recognizing and managing emotions helps individuals make better decisions. High EI allows for a balance between rational thought and emotional insights, leading to more comprehensive evaluations of situations. Example: a manager faced with a difficult decision can benefit from emotional intelligence by recognizing their anxiety about potential outcomes. Instead of allowing fear to cloud judgment, they can take a step back to assess the situation rationally. Increased open-mindedness. Emotionally intelligent individuals are more likely to consider alternative viewpoints. By managing emotional reactions, they can engage in discussions without being defensive or dismissive. Example: during a team meeting, a project lead presents a new strategy. An emotionally intelligent team member listens openly to feedback and considers diverse perspectives before forming an opinion. Enhanced communication. EI fosters effective communication skills. Individuals can express their thoughts clearly while also being attuned to the emotions of others, which facilitates constructive dialogues. Example: in a negotiation scenario, understanding the emotions of the opposing party can help in framing arguments that resonate and are more persuasive. Effective problem solving. High EI enables individuals to approach problems more creatively and collaboratively. When emotions are acknowledged, teams can work together to find innovative solutions without letting tension hinder their efforts. Example: a group facing a project deadline engages in a brainstorming session. Team members, aware of each other's stress levels, use humor and empathy to create a supportive environment that fosters creativity. Recognizing and managing emotions. To leverage emotional intelligence in critical thinking, it's important to recognize and manage emotions effectively. Here are some strategies. Journaling. Regularly writing about your emotions and experiences can increase self-awareness. Reflecting on daily challenges and how you felt can clarify emotional patterns. Exercise. Keep a daily journal where you record your emotional responses to events. Over time, analyze trends and triggers that influence your decision-making. Mindfulness practices. Engaging in mindfulness meditation can enhance emotional regulation. Mindfulness helps individuals become aware of their thoughts and feelings in the present moment without judgment. Exercise. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day practicing mindfulness meditation. Focus on your breathing and observe any emotions that arise without reacting to them. Seeking feedback. Actively seeking feedback from trusted colleagues or friends can provide insights into your emotional impact on others. This can help identify areas for improvement in emotional regulation. Exercise. After team meetings, ask for feedback on your emotional presence. How do others perceive your reactions? Use this feedback to adjust your emotional responses in future interactions. Practicing empathy. Put yourself in others' shoes to better understand their emotional states. Engaging in active listening can also foster empathy and improve relationship management. Exercise. During conversations, practice active listening by summarizing what the other person says and asking clarifying questions. This not only demonstrates empathy but also helps you understand their emotional perspective. Developing emotional intelligence skills. Building emotional intelligence is an ongoing process. Here are some methods to enhance EI skills. Self-reflection. Regularly reflect on your emotions and responses in various situations. This can help identify emotional triggers and improve self-management. Exercise. At the end of each week, spend time reflecting on your emotional reactions to significant events. What worked well? What could be improved? Role-playing. Engage in role-playing exercises that simulate challenging emotional scenarios. This can help practice emotional responses in a safe environment. Exercise. In a team setting, create scenarios that require emotional responses, e.g., handling a dissatisfied customer. Take turns playing different roles to explore emotional dynamics. Setting goals. Identify specific EI skills you wish to improve and set measurable goals. Whether it's enhancing self-regulation or building empathy, setting goals can provide direction. Exercise. Write down one EI skill to focus on each month. Track your progress and reflect on how it impacts your critical thinking and decision-making. Applying emotional intelligence in critical thinking scenarios. To see how emotional intelligence enhances critical thinking, consider the following scenarios. Conflict resolution. Imagine a situation where two team members are in disagreement over a project direction. An emotionally intelligent leader would recognize the emotions involved: frustration, defensiveness. Facilitate a discussion that allows both parties to express their viewpoints. Help the team find common ground by focusing on shared goals rather than personal differences. Feedback reception. Receiving constructive criticism can evoke strong emotions. An emotionally intelligent individual would acknowledge initial feelings of defensiveness or disappointment. Practice self-regulation to remain calm and composed. Actively listen to the feedback and analyze it critically, identifying areas for improvement without taking it personally. Decision-making under pressure. In a high-pressure situation, such as a crisis, an emotionally intelligent leader would stay composed and manage stress levels. Encourage open communication among team members to assess the situation collectively. Weigh the emotional responses of the team against factual data to make balanced, thoughtful decisions. Conclusion. Emotional intelligence is a vital component of effective critical thinking. By developing self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, individuals can enhance their ability to navigate complex situations and make informed decisions. As you continue to refine your critical thinking skills, remember that emotional intelligence is not just about recognizing and regulating your own emotions but also about understanding and empathizing with others. By cultivating these skills, you can foster more meaningful interactions, make better decisions, and ultimately enhance your overall effectiveness in both personal and professional contexts. In the next chapter, we will explore decision-making frameworks that help structure decision processes and enhance the reliability of outcomes. Chapter 8. Decision-making frameworks, tools for actionable solutions. In a world saturated with choices and competing priorities, effective decision-making is essential for personal and professional success. This chapter introduces various decision-making frameworks designed to provide structure and clarity in the decision-making process. By employing these frameworks, individuals can enhance their critical thinking skills, ensuring that their choices are well-informed and aligned with their goals. We will explore several widely recognized frameworks, including SWOT analysis, decision trees, cost-benefit analysis, the Pareto principle, and the RACI matrix. Each framework will be discussed in detail, highlighting its applications, benefits, and potential pitfalls. SWOT analysis, evaluating strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Overview of SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is a strategic planning tool used to identify the internal and external factors that can impact decision-making. The acronym stands for Strengths, internal attributes that enhance the organization's ability to achieve its objectives. Weaknesses, internal attributes that hinder the organization's performance. Opportunities, external factors that the organization can exploit for growth and success. Threats, external challenges that could jeopardize the organization's performance. Conducting a SWOT analysis. To perform a SWOT analysis, follow these steps. Identify strengths, list the strengths of the organization or project. Consider factors such as unique resources, capabilities, and competitive advantages. Example, a tech startup may identify its innovative technology and agile development process as strengths. Determine weaknesses, recognize the internal weaknesses. This could include limited resources, lack of expertise, or operational inefficiencies. Example, the same startup might list its limited funding and lack of brand recognition as weaknesses. Explore opportunities, assess the external environment for opportunities. Look for trends, market gaps, and potential partnerships. Example, the startup may identify emerging markets or advancements in technology as opportunities to pursue. Analyze threats, identify external threats that could impact performance. This could include competitive pressures, regulatory changes, or economic downturns. Example, the startup might face threats from established competitors with larger market shares. Benefits of SWOT analysis. Holistic view provides a comprehensive overview of both internal and external factors. Strategic focus helps prioritize actions based on the analysis of strengths and weaknesses. Facilitates discussion, encourages team collaboration and engagement in the decision-making process. Limitations of SWOT analysis. Subjectivity, results may vary based on the perspectives of those conducting the analysis. Static snapshot, SWOT is often a snapshot in time and may not account for rapid changes in the environment. Decision trees, visualizing choices and outcomes. Overview of decision trees. A decision tree is a visual representation of possible solutions to a decision based on different conditions. It breaks down decisions into branches, illustrating the choices available and the possible outcomes of each choice. Constructing a decision tree. Define the decision. Start with a clear decision that needs to be made. Example: a company needs to decide whether to invest in a new product line. Identify options. List the alternatives available. Example: launch the product, delay the launch, or cancel the project. Determine outcomes. For each option, identify potential outcomes and the likelihood of each outcome. Example: if the product is launched, it could lead to high sales, moderate sales, or low sales, each with associated probabilities. Calculate values. Assign values to outcomes, e.g., profit, and calculate the expected value for each option. Make a decision. Based on the calculated expected values, choose the option that offers the most favorable outcome. Benefits of decision trees. Clarity offers a clear visual representation of options and outcomes. Structured thinking encourages systematic analysis of decisions. Quantitative assessment incorporates quantitative data, allowing for objective comparison. Limitations of decision trees. Complexity can become unwieldy with too many variables or options. Accuracy of probabilities requires accurate estimation of probabilities, which may not always be available. Cost-benefit analysis, weighing financial implications. Overview of cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis (CBA) is a systematic approach to evaluating the economic pros and cons of a decision. It compares the expected costs of an action to its anticipated benefits, helping to determine the feasibility of a project or decision. Conducting a cost-benefit analysis. Identify costs. List all costs associated with the decision, including direct and indirect costs. Example: costs of production, marketing, and distribution for a new product. Identify benefits. List all expected benefits, both tangible, monetary, and intangible, non-monetary. Example: increased revenue, improved customer satisfaction, and enhanced brand reputation. Quantify costs and benefits. Assign monetary values to costs and benefits where possible. Compare costs and benefits. Calculate the net benefit by subtracting total costs from total benefits. Make a decision. If the benefits outweigh the costs, the decision may be considered viable. Benefits of cost-benefit analysis. Financial focus provides a clear financial basis for decision-making. Informed choices helps assess the economic viability of projects. Clear communication facilitates discussion and justification of decisions with stakeholders. Limitations of cost-benefit analysis. Difficulties in valuation. Not all benefits and costs can be easily quantified. Short-term focus may overlook long-term implications in favor of immediate financial gain. The Pareto Principle, focusing on the vital few. Overview of the Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, posits that 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. This principle can guide decision-making by helping individuals prioritize their efforts on the most impactful areas. Applying the Pareto Principle. Identify problems, list the issues or challenges being faced. Analyze impact, evaluate the impact of each issue on overall goals or performance. Prioritize actions, focus efforts on the 20% of problems that will yield 80% of the results. Example: a business may find that a small number of products generate the majority of its profits, prompting a focus on optimizing those products. Benefits of the Pareto Principle. Efficiency helps allocate resources more effectively by focusing on high-impact areas. Simplification streamlines decision-making processes by reducing complexity. Limitations of the Pareto Principle. Oversimplification may overlook smaller issues that, when aggregated, can have significant impacts. Dynamic changes, the 80-20 distribution may change over time, requiring continual reassessment. RACI matrix, clarifying roles and responsibilities. Overview of the RACI matrix. The RACI matrix is a tool used to define roles and responsibilities in a project or process. RACI stands for responsible, the individuals who perform the work. Accountable, the individual ultimately answerable for the activity or decision. Consulted, individuals who provide input or expertise. Informed, those who need to be kept updated on progress or decisions. Creating a RACI matrix. Define tasks, list all tasks or decisions associated with the project or initiative. Identify roles, list all individuals or teams involved. Assign RACI designations, for each task, assign R, A, C, or I to each role. Review and communicate, ensure all team members understand their roles and responsibilities. Benefits of the RACI matrix. Clarity reduces confusion about roles and responsibilities, leading to improved accountability. Enhanced collaboration encourages communication and collaboration among team members. Limitations of the RACI matrix. Complexity may become cumbersome in large projects with many tasks and roles. Over-reliance, teams may rely too heavily on the matrix, stifling initiative and flexibility. Integrating frameworks for effective decision-making. While each decision-making framework offers unique benefits, they can also be used in conjunction with one another for enhanced effectiveness. Here are some strategies for integration. Combine SWOT and CBA. After conducting a SWOT analysis, use cost-benefit analysis to evaluate the financial implications of each identified opportunity or threat. Utilize decision trees with RACI. As you visualize choices and outcomes using decision trees, clarify roles and responsibilities using a RACI matrix to ensure everyone understands their contributions to the decision. Apply the Pareto principle alongside SWOT. After identifying strengths and weaknesses in a SWOT analysis, apply the Pareto principle to prioritize actions that will leverage strengths or mitigate weaknesses. Conclusion. Decision-making is a critical skill that impacts every aspect of life, from personal choices to professional endeavors. By employing structured frameworks like SWOT analysis, decision trees, cost-benefit analysis, the Pareto principle, and the RACI matrix, individuals can enhance their decision-making capabilities. These frameworks not only provide clarity and structure but also foster critical thinking by encouraging comprehensive analysis and informed choices. As you move forward, remember that the key to effective decision-making lies in understanding the context, evaluating options critically, and remaining adaptable to change. In the next chapter, we will delve into practical problem-solving techniques that leverage critical thinking skills for real-time challenges. Chapter 9. Problem-solving in real-time, a step-by-step approach. In today's fast-paced world, the ability to solve problems quickly and effectively is more important than ever. Whether in personal life, the workplace, or broader societal contexts, challenges arise unexpectedly and often require immediate attention. This chapter provides a structured approach to real-time problem-solving, integrating critical thinking skills with practical strategies to navigate challenges effectively. We will explore various methodologies, including the classic problem-solving cycle, root cause analysis, the 5 whys technique, brainstorming and lateral thinking, and the ideal framework. By the end of this chapter, you will be equipped with a comprehensive toolkit to address problems as they arise, enhancing your ability to think critically and act decisively. The problem-solving cycle, a systematic approach. Overview of the problem-solving cycle. The problem-solving cycle is a structured process that guides individuals through identifying, analyzing, and resolving problems. This cycle typically consists of the following stages: problem identification, problem analysis, generating solutions, implementing solutions, evaluating outcomes. Stages of the problem-solving cycle. Problem identification. The first step is to clearly define the problem. Understanding what the issue is, why it matters, and how it affects the situation is crucial. Tip: ask yourself, what exactly is the problem, and who is affected by it? Problem analysis. This stage involves gathering data to understand the problem better. Analyze the context and identify contributing factors. Tip: use tools like SWOT analysis or fishbone diagrams to categorize causes. Generating solutions. Brainstorm potential solutions. Encourage creativity and open-mindedness. Consider all possibilities, even those that may seem unconventional. Tip: engage a diverse group of people in brainstorming sessions to gather a wide range of ideas. Implementing solutions. Choose the most feasible solutions and develop a plan for implementation. Allocate resources, assign responsibilities, and set timelines. Tip: develop a clear action plan that outlines steps, resources needed, and deadlines. Evaluating outcomes. After implementation, assess the effectiveness of the solution. Did it resolve the problem? What were the impacts? Tip: use metrics or feedback to measure success, and be prepared to make adjustments if necessary. Root cause analysis: identifying the source of problems. Overview of root cause analysis. Root cause analysis, RCA, is a method for identifying the underlying reasons for a problem. Rather than addressing superficial symptoms, RCA digs deeper to discover what truly caused the issue. Conducting a root cause analysis. Define the problem, clearly articulate the problem you are facing. Gather data, collect information about the problem, including when it occurs, its frequency, and its impact. Identify possible causes, use techniques such as brainstorming, fishbone diagrams, or the 5 whys to explore potential causes. Analyze causes, evaluate the possible causes to identify the root causes. This may involve asking why the problem occurs multiple times. Develop solutions. Once you identify the root cause, brainstorm solutions that address it directly. Implement and monitor. Implement the solution and monitor its effectiveness over time. The 5 whys technique. The 5 whys technique is a simple yet effective tool in root cause analysis. It involves asking why 5 times, or as many times as necessary, to drill down to the root cause of a problem. Example. Problem: the delivery was late. Why? The truck broke down. Why? The truck was not properly maintained. Why? The maintenance schedule was not followed. Why? The staff was not aware of the schedule. Why? There was no clear communication about responsibilities. In this example, the root cause is a lack of communication about maintenance responsibilities. Creative problem-solving techniques. Overview of creative problem-solving. Creative problem-solving encourages thinking outside the box and generating innovative solutions. It often involves divergent thinking, which emphasizes the exploration of multiple possibilities. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is a popular technique for generating a large number of ideas quickly. It involves gathering a group of individuals to freely share thoughts without judgment. Steps to effective brainstorming. Set clear objectives, define the problem to be solved. Encourage free thinking, create an open environment where all ideas are welcome. Record all ideas, use a whiteboard or digital tool to capture everything. Categorize ideas. After the brainstorming session, group similar ideas together for analysis. Select viable solutions, choose the most promising ideas for further development. Lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a problem-solving approach that seeks to generate creative solutions by looking at the problem from different angles. This technique was popularized by Edward de Bono and encourages nonlinear thinking. Techniques for lateral thinking. Challenge assumptions, question the norms and assumptions related to the problem. Use random inputs, introduce random stimuli to spark new ideas, e.g., choosing a random word and relating it to the problem. Reverse thinking, consider the opposite of what you want to achieve and think about how you might achieve that. The ideal framework, a comprehensive approach. Overview of the ideal framework. The ideal framework is a structured approach to problem solving that guides individuals through the process in a systematic way. It includes 5 key steps. Identify the problem. Define goals. Explore possible strategies. Act on the chosen strategy. Look back and evaluate. Applying the ideal framework. Identify the problem. Clearly articulate the issue at hand. Define goals, establish what you hope to achieve through problem solving. Explore possible strategies, consider various approaches and solutions. Act on the chosen strategy, implement the selected solution, ensuring that all involved understand their roles. Look back and evaluate, assess the outcome of the solution and identify lessons learned for future reference. Practical application of problem-solving techniques. To illustrate the effectiveness of these techniques, consider the following scenario. Scenario: a small marketing team is struggling to meet project deadlines, leading to client dissatisfaction. Applying the problem-solving cycle. Problem identification. The team identifies that project deadlines are frequently missed. Problem analysis. They gather data on project timelines and workflow efficiency, discovering that poor communication is a significant factor. Generating solutions. The team brainstorms solutions, including regular check-ins and a project management tool. Implementing solutions. They decide to adopt a project management tool and schedule weekly check-ins. Evaluating outcomes. After a month, the team evaluates that project completion rates improved significantly, and client feedback is positive. Using root cause analysis. Define the problem, missed deadlines. Gather data, project logs. Identify possible causes, poor communication, unclear responsibilities. Analyze causes, using the 5 whys. Develop solutions, implementing a new communication protocol. Overcoming barriers to effective problem solving. Even with the best frameworks and techniques, barriers can impede effective problem solving. Here are common barriers and strategies to overcome them. Mental barriers. Fear of failure or rigid thinking can stifle creativity. Solution: foster a culture that embraces mistakes as learning opportunities. Emotional barriers. Emotional responses can cloud judgment. Solution: practice emotional regulation techniques, such as mindfulness or deep breathing exercises, to maintain composure. Social barriers. Groupthink can lead to a lack of diverse ideas. Solution: encourage open dialogue and dissenting opinions in group settings. Resource constraints. Limited time or resources can inhibit problem-solving efforts. Solution: prioritize tasks and focus on high-impact solutions that require fewer resources. Conclusion. Effective problem-solving is a vital skill that combines critical thinking, creativity, and systematic analysis. By utilizing the techniques outlined in this chapter, such as the problem-solving cycle, root cause analysis, creative brainstorming, and the ideal framework, you will be better equipped to address challenges as they arise. The key to mastering problem-solving lies in your ability to remain flexible, open-minded, and persistent. Remember that the goal is not just to find a quick fix but to develop long-term solutions that enhance your capacity to navigate complexities in various contexts. As you practice these techniques, you will build confidence in your problem-solving abilities, enabling you to think smart and act wisely in all areas of your life. In the next chapter, we will explore how to identify and evaluate evidence, a crucial skill for assessing the credibility of information and making informed decisions. Chapter 10. Identifying and evaluating evidence, assessing credibility. In an age overflowing with information, the ability to identify and evaluate evidence has never been more critical. With social media, news outlets, and the internet, we are constantly bombarded with data, opinions, and claims. However, not all information is created equal. To think critically, one must differentiate credible sources from those that are biased, misleading, or entirely false. This chapter will provide you with practical strategies to assess the credibility of evidence, cross-reference facts, and verify data. By mastering these skills, you will enhance your ability to make informed decisions and develop sound arguments based on reliable information. Understanding the nature of evidence. Definition of evidence. Evidence refers to the information or data that supports a claim, assertion, or hypothesis. In critical thinking, evidence can take various forms, including quantitative data, statistics, numerical values, and measurable facts, e.g., survey results, experimental findings. Qualitative data, descriptive information that provides context and understanding, e.g., interviews, case studies. Anecdotal evidence, personal accounts or stories that illustrate a point but may lack generalizability. Testimonial evidence, statements from experts or individuals that lend credibility to a claim. Importance of evidence in critical thinking. Evidence serves as the foundation for rational arguments and informed decision-making. It allows individuals to validate or refute claims, draw conclusions based on reliable information, develop well-reasoned arguments, support ethical decision-making. Identifying credible sources. Characteristics of credible sources. To determine the credibility of a source, consider the following characteristics. Authority, who is behind the information. Is the author or organization recognized as an expert in the field? Look for credentials, affiliations, and relevant experience. Accuracy. Is the information presented accurately? Check for factual consistency, verifiable statistics, and the presence of references. Bias. Is the source objective, or does it exhibit bias? Evaluate the tone and intent of the information. Is it meant to inform, persuade, or provoke emotion? Currency. How recent is the information? In rapidly changing fields, like technology or medicine, outdated data may lead to incorrect conclusions. Purpose. What is the purpose of the source? Is it meant to educate, entertain, sell, or persuade? Understanding the intent can help assess the reliability of the information. Types of sources. Sources can be categorized into different types, each with its strengths and weaknesses. Primary sources, original materials or first-hand accounts, e.g., research studies, legal documents. These are often the most reliable but may require careful interpretation. Secondary sources, analyses or interpretations of primary sources, e.g., articles, reviews. These can provide context but may introduce bias. Tertiary sources, summaries of information, e.g., encyclopedias, textbooks. While useful for general understanding, they may lack depth and detail. Evaluating online sources. When evaluating online sources, keep these tips in mind. Check the URL, educational.edu, government.gov, and organizational.org. Websites often provide reliable information. Commercial.com sites can be biased. Investigate the website's about page, look for mission statements, author credentials, and contact information. Search for peer-reviewed articles. These have undergone rigorous evaluation by experts in the field and are generally more trustworthy. Cross-referencing facts. Importance of cross-referencing. Cross-referencing involves checking multiple sources to verify information. It reduces the likelihood of relying on flawed data and strengthens the credibility of your conclusions. Techniques for cross-referencing. Consult multiple sources. Compare information from various credible sources. If multiple sources agree, it increases the likelihood that the information is accurate. Look for consensus. Identify whether experts in the field generally agree on the information. This consensus can provide confidence in the validity of the claims. Check for original data. When evaluating statistics, find the original source of the data. This helps determine if the figures are presented accurately. Verify quotes and attributions. When using quotes, ensure that they are accurately attributed and presented in context. Verifying data. Methods for verification. To ensure that the data you encounter is credible, consider the following methods. Fact-checking websites. Utilize reputable fact-checking organizations, e.g., Snopes, factcheck.org, to verify claims, especially those that seem dubious. Use data repositories. Access databases and repositories, e.g., government databases, academic journals, for verified data. Contact experts. If possible, reach out to subject matter experts for clarification on complex issues or data. Evaluate methodologies. When reviewing studies, examine their methodology. Well-designed research should be replicable, transparent, and free from bias. Analyzing research studies. When assessing research studies, consider the following. Sample size. A larger sample size generally increases the reliability of results. Control groups. Well-designed studies often include control groups to compare results. Peer review. Published research that has undergone peer review is typically more credible. Recognizing misinformation and disinformation. Definitions. Misinformation, false or misleading information shared without harmful intent, often due to misunderstanding or lack of knowledge. Disinformation, deliberately false information shared with the intent to deceive. Strategies to recognize misinformation and disinformation. Be skeptical of sensational claims. Headlines that evoke strong emotions may be intended to provoke rather than inform. Always investigate the claim further. Check the source. Investigate the credibility of the source before accepting the information as true. Watch for incomplete data. Misinformation often presents selective data. Ensure that you have the full context before forming an opinion. Consult experts. If unsure about a claim, seek out experts in the field who can provide reliable insight. Practical exercises for evaluating evidence. Exercise 1, Source Evaluation. Select a recent news article on a controversial topic. Answer the following questions. Who is the author? What are their credentials? What is the purpose of the article? Is the information presented accurately? Can you find corroborating evidence in other sources? Are there any apparent biases in the article? Exercise 2, Fact-checking practice. Choose a claim that has circulated in the news or social media. Use fact-checking websites to verify the claim and summarize your findings. What was the original claim? What did your research reveal? Were there discrepancies in the information you found? Exercise 3, Cross-referencing activity. Select a statistical claim, e.g., related to health, education, or economy. Gather 3 different sources that present this data. Analyze the differences and similarities in how the data is presented and interpreted. How did each source represent the data? Were there any significant differences in the conclusions drawn? What might account for these differences? Conclusion. The ability to identify and evaluate evidence is a cornerstone of critical thinking. In a world where misinformation is rampant, honing these skills is essential for making informed decisions and developing credible arguments. By understanding the nature of evidence, evaluating sources for credibility, cross-referencing facts, and verifying data, you will position yourself to navigate the complexities of information with confidence and discernment. As you continue to refine your critical thinking abilities, remember that evaluating evidence is an ongoing process. The skills you develop in this area will not only enhance your decision-making but also empower you to contribute to meaningful discussions and advocate for well-informed positions in personal, academic, and professional contexts. In the next chapter, we will explore risk assessment and contingency planning, where you will learn how to prepare for uncertainties and develop strategies to manage potential challenges effectively. Chapter 11. Risk Assessment and Contingency Planning. In an increasingly unpredictable world, the ability to assess risks and develop contingency plans is paramount for effective decision-making. Whether in business, personal life, or public policy, understanding the potential pitfalls and challenges of any action can save time, resources, and even lives. This chapter explores methods for assessing risks, planning for uncertainties, and creating strategies to mitigate potential adverse outcomes. By mastering these techniques, you will be equipped to navigate complexities with confidence and foresight. Understanding risk assessment. Definition of risk. Risk can be defined as the potential for loss or harm resulting from an action, decision, or event. It is an inherent part of life and decision-making processes. Risks can be categorized as: financial risk pertains to the potential for financial loss, e.g., investing in stocks, launching a new product. Operational risk relates to failures in processes, systems, or people, e.g., supply chain disruptions, employee errors. Reputational risk involves potential damage to an organization's reputation due to various factors, e.g., public scandals, product failures. Compliance risk concerns the potential for legal penalties or losses resulting from failing to comply with regulations or laws. Strategic risk refers to the risks associated with a company's strategy and business model, e.g., market competition, changes in consumer preferences. The importance of risk assessment. Effective risk assessment allows individuals and organizations to anticipate challenges and uncertainties, make informed decisions based on potential outcomes, allocate resources efficiently, protect assets and minimize losses. The risk assessment process. Steps in risk assessment. The risk assessment process typically includes the following steps. Identify risks, determine the potential risks associated with a decision, project, or situation. This can involve brainstorming sessions, surveys, interviews, and historical data analysis. Analyze risks, evaluate the likelihood of each identified risk occurring and the potential impact if it does. This can be qualitative, e.g., high, medium, low, or quantitative, numerical probabilities and impact estimates. Prioritize risks, rank the risks based on their significance. Focus on the risks that could have the most substantial impact on your objectives or outcomes. Develop mitigation strategies. For each prioritized risk, develop strategies to minimize the likelihood of occurrence and reduce the impact. This can involve preventative measures, contingency plans, or insurance. Monitor and review. Continuously monitor the identified risks and the effectiveness of mitigation strategies. Regular reviews allow for adjustments based on new information or changing circumstances. Tools for risk assessment. Several tools can facilitate effective risk assessment. SWOT analysis, a framework that assesses strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This can help identify internal and external risks related to a project or business strategy. Risk matrix, a visual tool that plots risks according to their likelihood and impact. This aids in prioritizing risks effectively. Failure mode and effects analysis, FMEA, a systematic method for identifying potential failure points in processes or systems and assessing their consequences. Bowtie analysis, a visual tool that helps to analyze risks by illustrating the relationship between risks, their causes, consequences, and preventive measures. Contingency planning. Definition and importance. Contingency planning involves developing alternative plans and strategies to address potential risks and unforeseen events. It prepares individuals and organizations to respond effectively when things do not go as expected. The importance of contingency planning lies in reducing uncertainty and chaos during crises, ensuring a quick and effective response to unexpected events, protecting assets, people, and reputation, enhancing resilience and adaptability in the face of challenges. Steps in contingency planning. Identify contingency scenarios. Based on the risk assessment, identify possible scenarios that could require contingency planning. Consider both low probability, high impact events, e.g., natural disasters, and more likely risks, e.g., supply chain delays. Develop response strategies. For each scenario, outline specific response strategies. This may include allocating resources, assigning roles, and defining communication plans. Establish communication protocols. Develop clear communication protocols to ensure that all stakeholders are informed during a crisis. Define who will communicate what information and through which channels. Train and prepare. Conduct training sessions and simulations to ensure that team members understand their roles in the contingency plan. Regular practice increases readiness and reduces panic during actual events. Test and review the plan. Regularly test the contingency plan through drills or tabletop exercises. Review and update the plan based on lessons learned in changing circumstances. Risk assessment and contingency planning in practice. Case study: natural disaster preparedness. Consider a city preparing for a potential natural disaster, such as a hurricane. Identify risks. The city identifies risks, including flooding, power outages, and infrastructure damage. Analyze risks. Assess the likelihood of each risk occurring and the potential impact on residents and services. Prioritize risks. Flooding may be prioritized due to its high likelihood and severe impact. Develop mitigation strategies. Strategies might include enhancing drainage systems, improving building codes, and establishing emergency shelters. Contingency planning. The city develops a contingency plan that includes evacuation routes, communication protocols, and resource allocation. Train and review. Conduct regular drills and update the plan based on feedback and changing conditions. Case study: business continuity planning. A technology company may face risks such as cyber attacks and data breaches. Identify risks. The company identifies potential cybersecurity threats, including phishing attacks and ransomware. Analyze risks. Evaluate the likelihood and potential impact of each threat on operations and customer data. Prioritize risks. Cyber attacks with potential for severe data loss and financial impact are prioritized. Develop mitigation strategies. Implement strong cybersecurity measures, employee training, and regular system updates. Contingency planning. Create a contingency plan that includes data backups, incident response protocols, and communication with affected customers. Test and review. Conduct regular security drills and update the plan based on emerging threats and technological advancements. Tools and resources for effective risk assessment and contingency planning. Software and platforms. There are numerous tools available to assist with risk assessment and contingency planning, including risk management software. Tools like RiskWatch and Resolver offer features for identifying, assessing, and tracking risks. Project management tools. Software like Asana and Trello can help organize contingency plans and ensure that tasks are assigned and tracked. Data analysis tools. Programs such as Excel or specialized data analytics software can assist in analyzing risks quantitatively. Training resources. Consider investing in training programs to enhance risk assessment and contingency planning skills. Online courses. Platforms like Coursera and Udemy offer courses on risk management, crisis management, and business continuity planning. Workshops and seminars. Look for local or industry-specific workshops that focus on practical skills in risk assessment and contingency planning. Professional organizations. Joining organizations such as the Risk Management Society (RIMS) can provide access to resources, networking opportunities, and ongoing education. Conclusion. Risk assessment and contingency planning are essential components of effective decision-making in an uncertain world. By understanding the nature of risks, employing systematic assessment processes, and developing robust contingency plans, you can enhance your ability to navigate challenges and protect yourself and your organization from unforeseen events. As you continue to develop your critical thinking skills, remember that risks are not solely negative, they can also present opportunities for growth and innovation. By assessing and planning for potential pitfalls, you position yourself to capitalize on opportunities that may arise amidst uncertainty. In the next chapter, we will delve into critical thinking and communication, exploring how to apply your critical thinking skills to enhance persuasion and negotiation capabilities. Chapter 12. Critical Thinking in Communication, Persuasion and Negotiation Skills. Effective communication is a cornerstone of critical thinking. It allows us to articulate our thoughts, persuade others, and engage in meaningful dialogue. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or public forums, the ability to communicate effectively can determine the success of our interactions. This chapter delves into the essential skills of persuasion and negotiation, highlighting how critical thinking enhances these abilities. We will explore strategies for active listening, crafting persuasive arguments, and conducting respectful negotiations, all while emphasizing the importance of clarity, empathy, and impact in communication. The role of critical thinking in communication. Understanding communication dynamics. Communication is not merely about exchanging information, it's about understanding and being understood. Effective communication involves sender and receiver. Understanding both roles is essential. The sender conveys a message while the receiver interprets it. Message content, the actual information being communicated, which must be clear and relevant. Medium, the method of communication, verbal, written, nonverbal, which can significantly affect the message's reception. Feedback, the responses from the receiver, which help the sender gauge understanding and adjust accordingly. Critical thinking enhances communication by enabling individuals to analyze these components critically, ensuring that messages are clear, relevant, and effectively received. Barriers to effective communication. Barriers can impede effective communication, including misinterpretations. Different perceptions can lead to misunderstandings. Emotional barriers, anger, fear, or stress can distort messages. Cultural differences. Diverse backgrounds may lead to varied interpretations of messages. Noise, physical distractions can hinder communication. Awareness of these barriers is crucial for critical thinkers, allowing them to address and mitigate potential communication challenges. Active listening, the foundation of effective communication. What is active listening? Active listening is a communication technique that involves fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and remembering what is being said. It goes beyond simply hearing words, it requires engagement and a genuine effort to comprehend the speaker's message. Techniques for active listening. Pay attention, focus entirely on the speaker. This involves avoiding distractions, making eye contact, and using body language to convey interest. Show that you're listening. Use verbal affirmations, e.g., I see, I understand, and nonverbal cues, nodding, to demonstrate your engagement. Provide feedback, paraphrase what the speaker has said to ensure understanding. For example, so, what you're saying is. Defer judgment, avoid forming an opinion or response while the speaker is talking. This helps in fully grasping the speaker's perspective. Respond appropriately. Once the speaker has finished, respond thoughtfully, ensuring your response is relevant to the discussion. Crafting persuasive arguments. The elements of persuasion. Persuasion is the art of influencing others' beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. Key elements include credibility, establishing trust and authority on the topic. Emotional appeal, connecting with the audience's feelings and values. Logical reasoning, presenting clear, rational arguments supported by evidence. The structure of a persuasive argument. Claim, state your position clearly. For instance, we should adopt remote work policies to enhance employee productivity. Evidence, support your claim with data, examples, or testimonials. Research shows that companies with remote work policies report a 20% increase in productivity. Warrant, explain how your evidence supports your claim. This increase in productivity is attributed to fewer commuting hours and a better work-life balance. Counterarguments, acknowledge opposing views to demonstrate critical thinking. Some may argue that remote work leads to isolation. However, studies indicate that virtual team-building activities can foster connections. Conclusion, summarize your argument and reinforce your claim. In light of the evidence, adopting remote work policies not only enhances productivity but also contributes to employee satisfaction. The art of negotiation. Understanding negotiation. Negotiation is a dialogue between two or more parties aimed at reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. Effective negotiation relies on clear communication, active listening, and the ability to compromise. Stages of negotiation. Preparation, research the other party's interests, needs, and potential objections. Prepare your arguments and identify your goals. Opening, establish a positive tone and state your position clearly. This sets the stage for constructive dialogue. Bargaining, engage in discussions to reach a consensus. Use active listening and persuasive techniques to address concerns and find common ground. Closing, once an agreement is reached, summarize the key points and confirm mutual understanding. Follow-up, after the negotiation, maintain communication to ensure that the agreement is implemented effectively. Negotiation strategies. Collaborative approach, focus on finding win-win solutions rather than competing against each other. Be patient, allow time for reflection and avoid rushing decisions. Use I statements, express your feelings and needs without blaming others. For example, I feel concerned when deadlines are missed instead of you always miss deadlines. Stay calm, maintain composure, even in challenging discussions. This helps create a constructive atmosphere. The impact of empathy in communication. 2.5.1 Understanding empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It plays a crucial role in effective communication, as it fosters connection and trust. 2.5.2 Cultivating empathy. Practice perspective taking, try to see the situation from the other person's viewpoint. Ask questions that help you understand their feelings and motivations. Acknowledge emotions, validate the other person's feelings, even if you disagree with their perspective. For example, I can see that this situation is frustrating for you. Use reflective listening, reflect back what the speaker has shared, including their emotions. It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed by this project. Evaluating communication effectiveness. Metrics for success. To evaluate the effectiveness of your communication efforts, consider the following metrics. Feedback quality, assess the quality and relevance of feedback received. Clarity of message, determine if the message was understood as intended. Engagement level, gauge the level of interest and participation from your audience. Continuous improvement. Communication is a skill that can always be refined. Solicit feedback from peers, reflect on your interactions, and seek opportunities for practice through public speaking, writing, or group discussions. Conclusion. Mastering critical thinking and communication is vital for success in various aspects of life. By honing skills in active listening, crafting persuasive arguments, and engaging in effective negotiation, you can foster understanding, collaboration, and respect in your interactions. As you move forward, remember that communication is an ongoing process. By applying the techniques outlined in this chapter, you will not only enhance your critical thinking abilities but also become a more effective communicator, capable of influencing others and navigating complex conversations with ease. In the next chapter, we will explore strategic thinking, focusing on how to apply critical thinking skills to long-term goals and objectives, balancing immediate action with future implications. Chapter 13. Strategic Thinking, Long-Term Critical Thought. Strategic thinking is an essential skill for navigating the complexities of life, whether in personal endeavors or professional environments. It involves the ability to see the bigger picture, anticipate future trends, and make informed decisions that align with long-term goals. This chapter will explore the principles and practices of strategic thinking, emphasizing its importance, key components, and techniques for implementation. By cultivating strategic thinking, individuals can enhance their critical thinking skills and create pathways to success that are thoughtful, intentional, and resilient. The importance of strategic thinking. Defining strategic thinking. Strategic thinking is the process of planning for the future in a way that anticipates obstacles and opportunities. It involves long-term vision, looking beyond immediate tasks to focus on future goals. Proactive planning, anticipating potential challenges and devising strategies to overcome them. Resource allocation, making informed decisions on how to best use resources, time, money, personnel, to achieve goals. Why strategic thinking matters. In today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, strategic thinking is vital for several reasons. Adaptability. It equips individuals and organizations to adapt to change and respond to unforeseen challenges. Improved decision-making. By considering the long-term implications of decisions, strategic thinkers can make better choices that align with their goals. Resource efficiency. Strategic thinking helps optimize the use of resources, minimizing waste and maximizing output. Competitive advantage. In a professional context, organizations that practice strategic thinking can outmaneuver competitors and seize opportunities more effectively. Core components of strategic thinking. Vision and mission. Vision, a clear and compelling picture of what you want to achieve in the future. It serves as a guiding star for all strategic decisions. Example, a technology company's vision might be to create innovative solutions that enhance human connectivity worldwide. Mission, a statement of purpose that defines why an organization exists and what it aims to accomplish. Example, the same technology company might define its mission as to deliver cutting-edge communication tools that empower individuals and businesses. Environmental scanning. Environmental scanning involves analyzing internal and external factors that can impact an organization's success. This includes SWOT analysis, evaluating strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Market trends, keeping abreast of industry developments, consumer behavior, and technological advancements. Competitive analysis, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of competitors. Goal setting. Setting clear, measurable, and attainable goals is critical in strategic thinking. Goals should be SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Example, instead of a vague goal like improve sales, a SMART goal would be increase sales by 15% over the next fiscal year through targeted marketing campaigns. Strategic options development. Developing strategic options involves brainstorming various approaches to achieve your goals. This can include innovative solutions, exploring new ways to deliver products or services. Partnerships, considering alliances with other organizations to leverage resources and capabilities. Diversification, expanding into new markets or product lines. Techniques for effective strategic thinking. Scenario planning. Scenario planning involves creating detailed and plausible views of how the future might unfold. This technique helps organizations anticipate possible changes and prepare for them. Identify key factors, determine which factors could significantly impact your goals, e.g., economic conditions, technological advancements. Develop scenarios, create various scenarios based on these factors, best case, worst case, and most likely. Analyze implications. Consider how each scenario affects your goals and what strategies would be necessary to navigate each one. Mind mapping. Mind mapping is a visual tool that helps organize thoughts and ideas, making complex information more accessible. It can be particularly useful in strategic thinking by allowing individuals to visualize relationships, show connections between different ideas, goals, and strategies. Encourage creativity, stimulate brainstorming and the exploration of new possibilities. Critical path analysis. Critical path analysis, CPA, is a project management tool used to identify the longest stretch of dependent activities and measure the time required to complete them. This technique helps identify priorities, focus on the tasks that are critical to achieving strategic goals. Allocate resources, ensure that resources are directed toward high-priority tasks for maximum impact. Implementing strategic thinking in daily life. Building a strategic mindset. To become an effective strategic thinker, consider adopting the following practices. Continuous learning. Stay informed about trends and developments in your field through reading, networking, and professional development. Reflection. Regularly assess your goals, strategies, and outcomes to identify areas for improvement. Embrace change. Cultivate a willingness to adapt your strategies in response to new information or changing circumstances. Collaborative strategic thinking. Engaging others in the strategic thinking process can enhance creativity and lead to more comprehensive solutions. This can be achieved through team workshops. Organize brainstorming sessions that encourage participation from diverse perspectives. Feedback mechanisms. Create channels for receiving input and ideas from team members or stakeholders. Overcoming challenges in strategic thinking. Common pitfalls. Strategic thinking is not without its challenges. Common pitfalls include short-term focus, getting caught up in immediate tasks and losing sight of long-term goals. Resistance to change, difficulty in adapting to new information or strategies. Analysis paralysis, overthinking decisions to the point of inaction. Strategies for overcoming challenges. Prioritize, regularly review your goals to ensure alignment with your long-term vision. Stay flexible, be open to adjusting your strategies based on new insights or changing circumstances. Set time limits. To avoid analysis paralysis, establish deadlines for decision-making to encourage timely action. Case studies in strategic thinking. Case Study 1, Apple Inc. Apple's strategic thinking is evident in its long-term vision of innovation and design excellence. The company continuously scans the market for emerging trends and consumer preferences, allowing it to remain a leader in technology. By setting clear goals and developing innovative products like the iPhone and iPad, Apple has consistently met consumer demands and adapted to market changes. Case Study 2, Toyota. Toyota exemplifies effective strategic thinking through its commitment to continuous improvement and innovation. The company employs lean manufacturing principles to enhance efficiency while maintaining high-quality standards. Toyota's ability to anticipate market shifts and invest in hybrid technology demonstrates its long-term vision and adaptability. Conclusion. Strategic thinking is an invaluable skill that enables individuals and organizations to navigate the complexities of a rapidly changing world. By developing a long-term vision, engaging in thorough environmental scanning, setting measurable goals, and utilizing effective techniques like scenario planning and mind mapping, you can enhance your ability to think strategically. As you cultivate this skill, remember that strategic thinking is not a one-time effort but an ongoing process. Embrace continuous learning, foster collaboration, and remain flexible in your approach. In the next chapter, we will explore creative problem-solving techniques that complement strategic thinking, helping you drive innovation and overcome challenges in your personal and professional life. Chapter 14. Creative problem-solving, innovation through critical thinking. Creative problem-solving is a dynamic process that combines critical thinking with creativity to find effective solutions to complex challenges. In an ever-changing world, the ability to think creatively while applying critical reasoning is essential for innovation, adaptability, and growth. This chapter will delve into the techniques that enhance creativity within a critical thinking framework, providing readers with tools and methods to break out of conventional thinking and drive innovation. Understanding creative problem solving. The nature of creative problem solving. Creative problem solving involves generating new ideas, perspectives, and approaches to tackle problems. Unlike traditional problem solving methods, which often follow linear paths, creative problem solving encourages exploration and experimentation. It is characterized by divergent thinking, generating multiple solutions and ideas without immediate judgment. Convergent thinking, narrowing down those ideas to select the most feasible and impactful solutions. Iterative process, continuously refining ideas through feedback and testing. The importance of creativity in problem solving. Creativity is not just about artistic expression, it is a crucial element in effective problem solving. Emphasizing creativity allows individuals and organizations to innovate, develop new products, services, or processes that meet emerging needs. Adapt, adjust to unexpected changes and challenges with flexibility. Engage, foster a culture of collaboration and engagement by encouraging diverse ideas. Techniques for enhancing creative problem solving. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is a classic technique used to generate a large number of ideas in a short time. To facilitate effective brainstorming sessions, create a supportive environment, encourage participants to share ideas without fear of criticism. Set a clear goal, define the problem you want to solve to keep the focus. Use visual aids, employ tools like whiteboards or sticky notes to capture ideas visually. Example, during a brainstorming session for a new marketing strategy, a team might explore diverse ideas, ranging from social media campaigns to experiential marketing events, without immediate evaluation. Lateral thinking. Lateral thinking, coined by Edward de Bono, encourages thinking outside conventional patterns. Techniques to foster lateral thinking include provocation, use provocative statements to challenge existing assumptions, e.g., what if our product was free? Random input, introduce unrelated words or concepts to spark new connections, e.g., using the word ocean to think about flow and scale in a project. Mind mapping. Mind mapping is a visual tool that helps organize thoughts and ideas. It allows individuals to see relationships between different concepts, making it easier to identify potential solutions. Start with a central idea, write down the main problem in the center of the page. Branch out, create branches for related ideas, subproblems, or potential solutions. Use colors and images, enhance the map visually to stimulate creativity. Example, a team facing a decline in customer engagement might create a mind map exploring factors like customer feedback, marketing channels, and product features. The role of critical thinking in creative problem solving. While creativity is essential, critical thinking ensures that ideas are practical, feasible, and aligned with goals. Integrating critical thinking into the creative process involves evaluation of ideas. After generating ideas, it is crucial to critically assess them based on criteria such as feasibility, can the idea be realistically implemented? Impact, what is the potential effect on the problem at hand? Resources, what resources, time, money, personnel, are required? Balancing creativity with practicality. Striking a balance between creative exploration and practical constraints helps maintain momentum in the problem-solving process. This can be achieved by prototyping, creating low-cost prototypes or pilot projects to test ideas quickly. Feedback loops, establishing mechanisms for regular feedback and adjustment based on results. Case studies in creative problem solving. Case Study 1, Netflix. Netflix transformed the way we consume media through creative problem solving. Faced with the challenge of competition in the streaming market, they adopted a two-pronged approach. Original content, investing in original programming to differentiate themselves. Data-driven decisions, utilizing user data to inform content creation and recommendations. This combination of creative thinking and analytical reasoning helped Netflix become a dominant player in the entertainment industry. Case Study 2, IDEO. IDEO, a design and consulting firm, is renowned for its innovative approach to problem solving. Their methodology involves human-centered design, focusing on user needs and experiences to inform design. Rapid prototyping, creating quick prototypes to test and iterate on ideas based on user feedback. This approach has led to successful products like the Apple Computer Mouse and the Palm 5 PDA. Overcoming barriers to creative problem solving. Common barriers. Despite the benefits, several barriers can impede creative problem solving. Fear of failure, worrying about making mistakes can stifle creativity. Groupthink, conformity within teams can lead to a lack of diverse ideas. Over-reliance on process, strict adherence to procedures can limit exploration. Strategies to overcome barriers. Foster a safe environment, encourage open dialogue and celebrate failure as a learning opportunity. Diverse teams, assemble teams with varied backgrounds and perspectives to enhance creativity. Flexible processes, allow room for deviation from standard procedures when innovative opportunities arise. The future of creative problem solving. As the world continues to evolve, the need for innovative solutions will only grow. The future of creative problem solving will be shaped by technological advancements. Tools like artificial intelligence and machine learning can augment human creativity by providing insights and data analysis. Collaboration tools, online platforms that facilitate collaborative brainstorming and feedback will become increasingly important. Emphasis on diversity, organizations that embrace diversity in teams will be better positioned to generate innovative ideas. Conclusion. Creative problem solving is a vital component of effective critical thinking. By fostering creativity and integrating it with analytical skills, individuals and organizations can develop innovative solutions to complex challenges. Techniques such as brainstorming, lateral thinking, and mind mapping provide valuable tools for enhancing creativity. Additionally, the importance of critical thinking in evaluating and implementing ideas cannot be overstated. As you embrace the principles of creative problem solving, remember that it is an iterative process that thrives on experimentation and collaboration. The skills developed in this chapter will empower you to approach challenges with a fresh perspective, driving innovation in both personal and professional contexts. In the next chapter, we will explore how to develop a growth mindset to sustain continuous improvement and critical thinking throughout your life. Chapter 15. Developing a growth mindset, continuous improvement through reflection. In an era characterized by rapid change and complexity, the ability to adapt and grow is essential. A growth mindset, believing that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work, plays a pivotal role in fostering continuous improvement in critical thinking and overall personal development. This chapter will explore the principles of a growth mindset, the importance of reflection, and practical strategies for cultivating these traits in daily life. Understanding growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Defining mindsets. Psychologist Carol Dweck popularized the concepts of growth and fixed mindsets. Understanding the distinctions between these mindsets is foundational for personal growth. Growth mindset, the belief that skills and intelligence can be cultivated through effort, learning, and perseverance. Individuals with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for development and are more resilient in the face of setbacks. Fixed mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence are static traits. Those with a fixed mindset may avoid challenges, give up easily, and feel threatened by the success of others, limiting their potential for growth. The impact of mindset on learning. Research shows that adopting a growth mindset can significantly impact motivation, performance, and learning outcomes. Individuals with a growth mindset embrace challenges and persist through difficulties. View effort as a path to mastery. Learn from criticism and feedback. Celebrate the success of others, seeing it as inspiration rather than a threat. The role of reflection in developing a growth mindset. What is reflection? Reflection is the process of thinking deeply about experiences, analyzing actions, and evaluating outcomes to gain insights and foster learning. It is an essential component of a growth mindset, allowing individuals to understand their thought processes and behaviors. Identify areas for improvement and growth. Reinforce learning from successes and failures. Benefits of reflection. Engaging in regular reflection can lead to increased self-awareness. Understanding strengths, weaknesses, and emotional responses enhances decision-making and problem-solving capabilities. Enhanced learning, reflective practice helps solidify knowledge and skills, making it easier to transfer learning to new contexts. Greater resilience, reflecting on setbacks provides insights that foster resilience and adaptability in future challenges. Techniques for developing a growth mindset. Embrace challenges. Seek opportunities for growth, actively look for challenging tasks that push you out of your comfort zone. Reframe setbacks, instead of viewing failures as a reflection of your abilities, see them as learning opportunities. Ask, what can I learn from this? Example, if you struggle with public speaking, join a group like Toastmasters to practice and improve your skills. Each presentation becomes a chance to refine your abilities rather than a test of your worth. Cultivate a love for learning. Pursue new interests, engage in activities that pique your curiosity, whether they are related to your field or entirely outside it. Lifelong learning, commit to continuous education through courses, workshops, and reading. Embrace the mindset that learning never stops. Example, dedicate time each week to explore a new subject, skill, or hobby. This can range from learning a new language to studying an area of interest unrelated to your profession. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, recognize that everyone makes mistakes and that errors are part of the learning process. Avoid self-criticism, replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Encourage yourself as you would a friend. Example, when facing challenges at work, instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, try saying, I am capable of learning and improving. Reflection practices to foster growth. Journaling. Journaling is a powerful tool for reflection. Set aside time each day or week to write about your experiences, thoughts, and feelings. Consider prompts such as, what did I learn today? What challenges did I face, and how did I respond? How can I apply what I learned to future situations? Mind mapping. Create mind maps to visually organize your thoughts and reflect on your learning. Start with a central idea, e.g., a recent challenge, and branch out into different aspects, such as what you learned, how you felt, and potential future applications. Feedback sessions. Solicit feedback from peers, mentors, or coaches regularly. After receiving feedback, reflect on how it aligns with your self-perception and areas for growth. Active listening, pay attention to the feedback without becoming defensive. Action plan, create a plan to incorporate constructive feedback into your development process. Creating a culture of growth. In organizations. Encouraging a growth mindset within teams and organizations can lead to greater innovation, collaboration, and overall success. Strategies include: encourage open communication, foster an environment where team members feel safe sharing ideas and feedback. Promote continuous learning, invest in training and development opportunities that emphasize growth and improvement. In education, educators can instill a growth mindset in students by emphasizing effort over ability, praise students for their effort and strategies rather than innate talent. Modeling growth mindset behaviors, share personal experiences of growth and learning from mistakes to inspire students. Challenges in developing a growth mindset. Overcoming fixed mindset triggers. Identifying triggers that evoke a fixed mindset is essential. Common triggers include comparing yourself to others, focus on your own progress rather than measuring against others. Avoiding risk, challenge yourself to take calculated risks, recognizing that discomfort often accompanies growth. Combating negative self-talk. Negative self-talk can undermine the growth mindset. Combat this by identifying negative thoughts, write down self-critical thoughts and challenge their validity. Reframing, transform negative statements into positive affirmations. Sustaining a growth mindset. Regular self-assessment. Conduct periodic self-assessments to evaluate your mindset, reflecting on how you approach challenges, setbacks, and learning. Consider: where have I shown growth? What areas require further development? Set growth goals. Establish specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART, goals related to personal growth. Regularly review and adjust these goals based on your evolving interests and challenges. Conclusion. Cultivating a growth mindset is an ongoing journey that empowers individuals to embrace challenges, learn from experiences, and strive for continuous improvement. By integrating reflective practices into daily life, individuals can enhance their critical thinking skills and foster resilience in the face of adversity. As you move forward, remember that growth is not a destination but a lifelong process. Embrace each experience, both positive and negative, as an opportunity for learning and development. In the next chapter, we will explore practical ways to build critical thinking habits that can be seamlessly integrated into your everyday life, ensuring that your growth mindset translates into tangible outcomes. Chapter 16. Building a critical thinking habit, practices for everyday life. Critical thinking is not merely a skill to be learned, it is a habit to be cultivated. In a world overflowing with information, the ability to think critically becomes essential for navigating daily challenges, making informed decisions, and solving problems effectively. This chapter provides practical strategies to incorporate critical thinking into everyday life, transforming it from a theoretical concept into a fundamental aspect of your daily routine. Understanding habits and their importance. What is a habit? A habit is a behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. It is formed through a cycle of cue, routine, and reward. In the context of critical thinking, developing a habit means consciously integrating critical thinking practices into your daily life until they become second nature. The science of habit formation. Understanding the science behind habit formation can empower you to adopt critical thinking practices more effectively. According to Charles Duhigg in his book The Power of Habit, habits follow a three-step loop. Cue, a trigger that initiates the habit. Routine, the behavior or action taken in response to the cue. Reward, the benefit gained from completing the routine, which reinforces the habit. By identifying cues and rewards associated with critical thinking behaviors, you can create routines that promote critical thinking. Practical strategies for building critical thinking habits. Start your day with reflection. Begin each day with a brief reflection to set a critical thinking tone. This could be through journaling or meditation. Journaling prompt: what challenges do I anticipate today, and how can I approach them critically? Meditation focus: spend 5 minutes focusing on your breath and then visualize yourself handling potential challenges with a critical mindset. Questioning as a daily practice. Make questioning a daily habit. At various points throughout the day, ask yourself questions to deepen your understanding and challenge assumptions. Morning: what assumptions am I making about my day? Afternoon: how can I approach a current task differently? Evening: what did I learn today that will inform my decisions tomorrow? Use a critical thinking checklist. Create a checklist of critical thinking questions to guide your decision making. This can serve as a cue for critical thinking when faced with decisions. Checklist example. What evidence supports my viewpoint? Are there alternative perspectives I should consider? What are the potential consequences of this decision? Am I making this decision based on emotions or facts? Engage in active learning. Active learning involves engaging with the material you are studying rather than passively absorbing information. This can be applied in various contexts, such as reading, attending lectures, or participating in discussions. Ask questions. While reading a book or article, pause to ask questions about the material. What is the author's argument? What evidence do they provide? Summarize and reflect. After learning something new, summarize the key points in your own words and reflect on how they relate to your experiences or beliefs. Create a reflection habit. Set aside time each week to reflect on your decisions and thought processes. This could be during a Sunday evening routine. Questions for reflection. What decisions did I make this week, and what was my reasoning? What worked well, and what could I improve? How did my biases affect my decisions? Incorporating critical thinking into daily interactions. Active listening. Practice active listening in conversations, which involves fully focusing on the speaker, understanding their message, responding thoughtfully, and remembering key points. This enhances your ability to think critically about differing perspectives. Technique: summarize what the other person has said before responding. For example, so what you're saying is that correct? Encouraging dialogue and debate. Engage in discussions that challenge your ideas. Seek out people with differing viewpoints to foster a deeper understanding of complex issues. Approach, frame discussions around questions rather than statements. For example, what do you think about this idea, instead of stating your opinion outright? Utilizing social media wisely. Social media can be a double-edged sword when it comes to critical thinking. Use it consciously by curating your feed to include diverse perspectives and engaging with content critically. Action step: follow accounts that challenge your views and practice evaluating their arguments. Building a supportive environment for critical thinking. Create a critical thinking space. Designate a physical space for critical thinking activities, whether it's a quiet corner in your home or a cafe where you can reflect and think. This space should be free from distractions and equipped with materials that stimulate critical thought, like books, articles, and a journal. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Build a network of individuals who value critical thinking and can offer constructive feedback. Join groups, forums, or book clubs that focus on critical analysis and discussion. Action step: attend workshops or seminars that emphasize critical thinking skills and encourage interaction. Leveraging technology for critical thinking. Critical thinking apps and tools. Several digital tools can facilitate the development of critical thinking habits. Consider incorporating the following. Mind mapping tools: use applications like MindMeister or Xmind to visually organize thoughts and ideas. Habit tracking apps: apps like Habitica or Habitbull can help track your progress in building critical thinking habits. Online courses: platforms like Coursera or edX offer courses focused on critical thinking that can reinforce your learning and provide structure. Online discussion forums. Participate in online forums such as Reddit or Quora, where you can engage in discussions about various topics. Practice articulating your thoughts clearly and critically evaluating others' contributions. Assessing progress and adjusting habits. Periodic self-assessment. Regularly assess your critical thinking habits to determine what is working and what needs adjustment. Set specific intervals, monthly, quarterly, to review your progress. Assessment questions. Have I been consistently reflecting on my decisions? Am I engaging in discussions that challenge my beliefs? How have my critical thinking skills improved? Set new goals. As you assess your progress, set new goals to further develop your critical thinking skills. This may involve tackling more complex issues or expanding your knowledge in specific areas. Conclusion. Building a critical thinking habit requires intention, practice, and reflection. By integrating these practices into your daily life, you can foster a mindset that prioritizes critical analysis, open-mindedness, and adaptability. In doing so, you will not only enhance your decision-making and problem-solving abilities but also position yourself for success in an ever-changing world. In the next chapter, we will explore how to cultivate a culture of critical thinking, not just within ourselves but also in our communities, organizations, and networks, ensuring that the principles of critical thinking extend beyond individual practice and contribute to collective growth and improvement. Chapter 17. Cultivating a culture of critical thinking, inspiring others. Critical thinking is not only an individual pursuit, it can also flourish in a community or organizational context. When critical thinking becomes a shared value, it leads to improved collaboration, better decision-making, and enhanced problem-solving capabilities across teams. This chapter provides strategies for cultivating a culture of critical thinking within various environments, be it workplaces, educational institutions, or community organizations. We will explore practical steps to encourage open dialogue, constructive feedback, and a continuous learning environment that nurtures critical thinking. Understanding the importance of a critical thinking culture. Defining culture of critical thinking. A culture of critical thinking is characterized by an environment where questioning, analyzing, and synthesizing information are encouraged. In such cultures, individuals feel safe to express their thoughts, challenge assumptions, and engage in meaningful dialogue. This is crucial for innovation and adaptation in a rapidly changing world. Benefits of a critical thinking culture. Enhanced problem solving. A collective approach to problem solving brings diverse perspectives to the table, leading to more comprehensive solutions. Better decision making. Groups that practice critical thinking can evaluate options more rigorously, resulting in well-informed decisions. Increased engagement. Environments that foster open dialogue tend to have more engaged individuals, as people feel valued and heard. Adaptability. Organizations that embrace critical thinking are more agile, as they can pivot in response to new information or challenges. Strategies for cultivating a culture of critical thinking. Led by example. Leaders play a pivotal role in establishing a culture of critical thinking. By modeling critical thinking behaviors, leaders can inspire their teams to do the same. Encourage questioning. Leaders should ask questions that stimulate discussion and invite team members to do the same. For instance, during meetings, pose open-ended questions such as, "What are some alternative approaches we haven't considered?" Admit mistakes. When leaders acknowledge their own errors and demonstrate a willingness to learn from them, they foster an environment where others feel comfortable doing the same. Create safe spaces for dialogue. Establishing an environment where individuals feel safe to express their thoughts and challenge ideas is critical. Anonymous feedback mechanisms. Implement tools for anonymous feedback to ensure everyone has a voice without fear of judgment. Structured discussions. Facilitate regular discussions where team members can share ideas and challenge each other's viewpoints in a respectful manner. Promote collaborative learning. Encouraging collaboration enhances critical thinking skills as individuals share knowledge and learn from each other. Group projects. Foster collaborative projects that require team members to research, discuss, and present findings collectively. Peer learning sessions. Organize regular sessions where team members can teach each other about specific topics, promoting the exchange of ideas and perspectives. Incorporate critical thinking into training and development. Integrating critical thinking skills into training programs ensures that all members understand its value and practice it regularly. Workshops and seminars. Offer workshops that focus on critical thinking techniques and their application in the workplace. Mentorship programs. Pair experienced critical thinkers with those looking to develop their skills, allowing for guidance and support. Encouraging open dialogue and constructive feedback. Implementing regular feedback loops. Regular feedback is essential for fostering a culture of continuous improvement and critical thinking. 360-degree feedback. Use 360-degree feedback processes where team members provide feedback on each other's performance, promoting a holistic view of contributions and areas for growth. Feedback sessions. Schedule regular one-on-one and team feedback sessions to discuss progress, challenges, and potential solutions collaboratively. Creating forums for idea exchange. Establishing forums for sharing ideas enhances open communication and collaboration. Idea boards. Use physical or digital idea boards where team members can post suggestions and questions. Innovation challenges. Host regular innovation challenges where team members can propose solutions to current problems or new ideas for improvement. Celebrate critical thinking achievements. Recognizing and celebrating instances of effective critical thinking can motivate others to engage in similar behaviors. Recognition programs. Implement a recognition program that highlights team members who exemplify critical thinking in their work. Showcase success stories. Share success stories within the organization that resulted from critical thinking practices. Addressing barriers to critical thinking in groups. Identifying common barriers. Understanding and addressing barriers to critical thinking is essential for cultivating a thriving culture. Confirmation bias. Encourage diverse perspectives and emphasize the importance of seeking contrary evidence. Groupthink. Promote an environment where dissenting opinions are valued. Use techniques such as devil's advocacy, where one member is assigned to challenge ideas constructively. Training on bias awareness. Provide training on recognizing and mitigating biases that hinder critical thinking. Workshops on cognitive biases. Conduct workshops that explore common cognitive biases and their impact on decision-making. Interactive scenarios. Use role-playing or scenario-based learning to illustrate the consequences of biases in group settings. Integrating critical thinking into organizational processes. Embedding critical thinking in decision-making processes. Integrate critical thinking into the organization's decision-making frameworks. Decision-making frameworks utilize structured decision-making tools such as SWOT analysis or decision trees in team meetings to encourage comprehensive evaluation of options. Scenario planning implements scenario planning exercises to help teams anticipate potential challenges and develop critical responses. Evaluating outcomes. Regularly assess the effectiveness of critical thinking practices within the organization. Performance metrics develop metrics that evaluate the impact of critical thinking on outcomes, such as project success rates or employee engagement levels. Continuous improvement use insights from evaluations to refine and enhance critical thinking practices continuously. Case studies of successful critical thinking cultures. Google's approach to innovation. Google is renowned for its emphasis on fostering a culture of innovation and critical thinking. The company encourages employees to spend 20% of their time on projects they are passionate about, which leads to creative solutions and critical exploration of ideas. Outcome: this approach has resulted in successful products such as Gmail and Google Maps, demonstrating how a culture of critical thinking can drive significant organizational achievements. The United Nations use of collaborative learning. The United Nations employs a collaborative learning approach to tackle complex global challenges. By bringing together diverse stakeholders and encouraging critical discussions, the organization can formulate well-rounded strategies to address issues such as climate change and humanitarian crises. Outcome: this collaborative approach leads to more effective and sustainable solutions, highlighting the power of critical thinking in addressing global challenges. Conclusion: cultivating a culture of critical thinking requires commitment, creativity, and consistent effort. By implementing strategies that promote open dialogue, encourage collaborative learning, and integrate critical thinking into decision-making processes, organizations can create an environment where individuals thrive, innovate, and contribute meaningfully. As we move into the final chapter, we will discuss how to navigate ethical dilemmas using critical thinking, equipping readers with the tools to make sound ethical decisions in a complex world. Chapter 18. Navigating ethical dilemmas with critical thinking. In an increasingly complex world, ethical dilemmas are an inevitable part of both personal and professional life. Whether in business, healthcare, law, or daily decision-making, individuals often face situations where the right choice is not immediately clear. Critical thinking serves as a vital tool for navigating these dilemmas, enabling individuals to assess their values, consider multiple perspectives, and arrive at decisions that are not only rational but also ethically sound. This chapter explores the role of critical thinking in ethical decision-making, outlines frameworks for ethical reasoning, and provides practical guidance for addressing ethical dilemmas. Understanding ethical dilemmas. Defining ethical dilemmas. An ethical dilemma occurs when a person faces a situation in which two or more values, principles, or obligations conflict, making it difficult to determine the right course of action. For example, a healthcare provider may need to decide whether to prioritize patient autonomy over public health concerns. These situations often involve competing interests, conflicting values, and a need for careful consideration of the consequences. Common examples of ethical dilemmas. Healthcare: a doctor may need to decide whether to respect a patient's wish to refuse life-saving treatment or to intervene for the patient's own good. Business: a manager faces the choice between increasing profits by cutting costs, which may lead to layoffs, and maintaining employee job security. Legal: an attorney may struggle with whether to defend a client who has confessed to a crime that could harm others. The importance of critical thinking in ethical decision-making. Critical thinking enhances ethical decision-making in several key ways. Clarifies values: critical thinking helps individuals articulate their core values and principles, making it easier to understand what is at stake in a dilemma. Evaluates options: through systematic analysis, critical thinking enables individuals to weigh the consequences of different courses of action, considering both short-term and long-term implications. Considers multiple perspectives: engaging in critical thinking allows individuals to explore diverse viewpoints and understand the impact of their decisions on various stakeholders. Enhances accountability: a critical thinking approach fosters accountability by requiring individuals to justify their decisions based on reasoned arguments and ethical considerations. Frameworks for ethical decision-making. Several frameworks can guide ethical decision-making through critical thinking. These frameworks provide structured approaches for evaluating dilemmas and arriving at ethical conclusions. The utilitarian approach. Definition: this approach evaluates the ethical implications of a decision based on the greatest good for the greatest number. It emphasizes outcomes and the consequences of actions. Application: when faced with an ethical dilemma, individuals can ask, which option will produce the most positive outcomes for the most people? Example: a public health official might choose to implement a vaccination program that protects the majority of the population, even if it involves risks for a small minority. The rights approach. Definition: this framework emphasizes the importance of respecting and protecting individual rights and freedoms. It asserts that ethical actions should honor and uphold the rights of all individuals. Application: in decision-making, consider, does this action respect the rights of all parties involved? Example: a journalist faced with the decision to publish sensitive information would evaluate whether doing so would infringe on the privacy rights of individuals involved. The justice approach. Definition: this approach focuses on fairness, equity, and justice in the treatment of individuals. It argues for distributing benefits and burdens fairly among all parties. Application: ask yourself, does this decision treat all stakeholders fairly? Are there any unjust consequences? Example: in a workplace scenario, an HR manager may need to ensure that layoffs are conducted fairly, considering seniority and performance rather than arbitrary criteria. The virtue approach. Definition: this framework emphasizes the character and integrity of the decision-maker. It considers whether actions align with moral virtues such as honesty, courage, compassion, and wisdom. Application: reflect on, does this decision reflect my personal and professional values? Am I acting in accordance with who I aspire to be? Example: a business leader may decide against pursuing a lucrative but unethical contract, aligning their decision with their values of integrity and respect. Steps for applying critical thinking to ethical dilemmas. Step 1. Identify the dilemma. Begin by clearly defining the ethical dilemma at hand. Identify the conflicting values or principles and outline the stakeholders involved. Example: I need to decide whether to report a colleague who is violating company policy. On one hand, I value loyalty to my team, on the other hand, I value integrity and adherence to rules. Step 2. Gather information. Collect relevant facts and context surrounding the dilemma. This may include policies, laws, stakeholder perspectives, and potential consequences. Example: research company policies on whistleblowing and the potential implications for both the colleague and the organization. Step 3. Explore options. Consider the possible courses of action and evaluate them using ethical frameworks. Weigh the pros and cons of each option, considering their impact on all stakeholders. Example: list options such as reporting the colleague, discussing the issue privately with them, or remaining silent. Step 4. Reflect on consequences. Analyze the potential outcomes of each option. Consider both short-term and long-term consequences for individuals and the organization. Example: reporting may lead to disciplinary action against the colleague, while silence could perpetuate unethical behavior. Step 5. Make a decision. Based on the analysis, choose the option that aligns best with your values, ethical principles, and the needs of the situation. Example: you may decide to report the colleague if the violation poses a significant risk to others, aligning with your value of integrity. Step 6. Take action. Implement the decision thoughtfully and responsibly. Communicate your decision clearly and ensure that your actions align with your chosen course. Example: if you choose to report, prepare a detailed account of the violation and follow the proper channels for reporting. Step 7. Reflect on the outcome. After taking action, reflect on the decision-making process and the consequences of your actions. Assess what went well and what could be improved for future ethical dilemmas. Example: evaluate the response to your report and consider how the situation could have been handled differently. Case studies: ethical dilemmas in action. Case study 1: the whistleblower dilemma. A nurse discovers that a hospital is not following proper sanitation procedures, potentially endangering patients. She faces a dilemma: report the issue and risk losing her job, or remain silent and compromise patient safety. Application of frameworks: using the rights approach, she considers the rights of patients to receive safe care versus her own right to job security. She ultimately decides to report the issue, believing that patient welfare is paramount. Case Study 2: The Environmental Responsibility Dilemma. A manufacturing company discovers that its production process is causing environmental harm. The CEO must choose between investing in cleaner technology, which will reduce short-term profits, or continuing current practices to maximize profits. Application of frameworks: the CEO applies the justice approach, weighing the environmental impact on the community against the financial interests of the company. He opts for the investment in cleaner technology, recognizing the long-term benefits for the community and the company's reputation. Developing ethical awareness. Critical thinking also involves cultivating ethical awareness to recognize potential dilemmas before they arise. Here are strategies to develop this awareness. Stay informed, regularly educate yourself about ethical standards and issues in your field. Follow relevant news, research, and discussions. Engage in discussions, participate in conversations about ethical dilemmas with colleagues, friends, or mentors. Engaging with diverse perspectives enhances ethical awareness. Reflect on personal values. Take time to reflect on your core values and how they inform your decisions. Keeping a journal can help clarify your thoughts on ethical matters. Consider long-term implications. When making decisions, think beyond immediate consequences and consider the broader impact on stakeholders and society. Conclusion. Navigating ethical dilemmas requires a thoughtful application of critical thinking skills. By employing structured frameworks, evaluating options carefully, and reflecting on the consequences of decisions, individuals can make ethical choices that align with their values and principles. As we conclude this exploration of critical thinking and ethics, we will move into the final chapter, where we will synthesize the skills and insights gained throughout the book and discuss how to transition from critical insights to meaningful action in real-life scenarios. Chapter 19. Putting it all together, from insight to action. In this final chapter, we bring together the critical thinking skills and frameworks explored throughout the book. Having developed a comprehensive understanding of how to think critically, analyze information, make ethical decisions, and apply problem-solving techniques, we now focus on the essential next step, translating insights into action. This chapter aims to equip you with practical strategies to implement your critical thinking skills in real-world scenarios, fostering not just understanding but effective execution. The importance of action in critical thinking. Critical thinking is not merely an intellectual exercise, it is a pathway to informed action. The process of critical thinking enhances our ability to analyze situations, make decisions, and solve problems. However, the ultimate measure of this ability lies in our capacity to act upon our insights. Without action, critical thinking remains an abstract concept. By integrating our skills into our daily practices, we can create tangible impacts in our personal and professional lives. Frameworks for moving from insight to action. To facilitate the transition from critical insight to action, several frameworks can guide our decision-making processes. These frameworks help structure our thinking, ensuring that our actions are aligned with our values and goals. The SMART Goals Framework. The SMART framework provides a systematic approach to goal setting and action planning. Specific: define your goals clearly. What exactly do you want to achieve? Measurable: establish criteria for measuring progress and success. How will you know when you've reached your goal? Achievable: ensure that your goals are realistic and attainable, given your resources and constraints. Relevant: align your goals with your broader objectives and values. Why is this goal important? Time-bound: set a deadline for achieving your goals. When do you expect to complete your action? Example: instead of saying, "I want to improve my communication skills," you might say, "I will attend a public speaking workshop in the next 3 months to improve my communication skills, which will help me lead team meetings more effectively." The Action Plan Framework. Creating a detailed action plan is crucial for executing your insights. This framework involves several key steps. Identify the objective: clearly state what you want to achieve. Break down the tasks: divide the objective into manageable tasks. Assign responsibilities: if working in a team, determine who will be responsible for each task. Set deadlines, establish timelines for each task to maintain momentum. Monitor progress, regularly check on the progress of your action plan and make adjustments as necessary. Example, if your goal is to implement a new team project, your action plan might include tasks such as conducting research, assigning roles, setting milestones, and scheduling check-ins. Real-life scenarios, applying critical thinking skills. To illustrate how to put critical thinking into action, we will explore various real-life scenarios where critical thinking skills can be applied effectively. Scenario 1, Workplace Decision-Making. Imagine you are a project manager faced with the decision of selecting a vendor for a key project. You have two options, vendor A, which is cheaper but has received mixed reviews, and vendor B, which is more expensive but has an excellent track record. Define the problem, determine the criteria for selecting a vendor, cost, quality, reliability. Gather evidence, research both vendors, checking reviews, past performance, and financial stability. Evaluate options, use a decision-making framework, like a decision tree, to weigh the pros and cons of each vendor. Make the decision, choose the vendor that best aligns with your project's needs and values. Implement and monitor, after selecting a vendor, establish a contract, and set up regular check-ins to ensure the project stays on track. Outcome, by applying critical thinking, you select vendor B, leading to a successful project outcome and enhanced team credibility. Scenario 2, Ethical Decision-Making in Healthcare. As a healthcare professional, you encounter a situation where a patient refuses a life-saving treatment. Your ethical dilemma involves balancing respect for the patient's autonomy with your obligation to provide care. Identify the ethical dilemma. Acknowledge the conflict between patient autonomy and the principle of beneficence. Gather information, understand the patient's reasons for refusal and their medical condition. Evaluate the options, discuss the implications of each option with colleagues and consider ethical frameworks, e.g., utilitarianism, rights approach. Engage in dialogue, facilitate an open conversation with the patient to understand their perspective and explore alternatives. Make a decision. Depending on the conversation, you might respect the patient's wishes or suggest alternative treatments that align with their values. Outcome, by engaging in critical thinking and ethical reasoning, you ensure that the patient's voice is heard, fostering a trusting relationship while still providing care options. Scenario 3, Personal Development. You decide to enhance your professional skills to advance in your career. Identify your goal, aim to improve your leadership abilities. Research, investigate various leadership training programs and their formats, online, in-person, workshops. Evaluate options, consider costs, schedules, and reviews of the programs using a pros and cons list. Create an action plan, select a program that fits your criteria, enroll, and set specific milestones for completion. Implement, actively participate in the program, applying what you learn to your current role. Outcome, you complete the program, gain valuable skills, and apply them to take on leadership responsibilities in your job, demonstrating the effectiveness of critical thinking and personal growth. Overcoming challenges and implementing critical thinking. While applying critical thinking to real-life scenarios is essential, individuals may face several challenges in the process. Here are strategies to overcome these obstacles. Resistance to change. Change can be difficult, particularly in established environments. To address resistance, communicate clearly, articulate the benefits of the change and how it aligns with organizational goals. Involve stakeholders, engage team members in the decision-making process to foster ownership and buy-in. Provide support, offer resources and training to facilitate the transition. Information overload. In today's information-rich environment, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. To manage information effectively, prioritize information, identify what is most relevant to your decision and focus on that. Limit sources, choose a few credible sources to gather your information instead of trying to process everything. Organize data, use tools like mind maps or charts to visually represent information, making it easier to analyze. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of failure can paralyze decision-making. To combat this fear, adopt a growth mindset, embrace mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. Set incremental goals, break larger tasks into smaller, manageable steps to build confidence. Seek feedback, regularly solicit input from peers or mentors to gain perspective and improve your approach. Cultivating a continuous improvement mindset. As you apply critical thinking skills in various contexts, it's essential to cultivate a mindset focused on continuous improvement. This involves regular reflection. Take time to reflect on decisions made and the processes used. What worked well? What could be improved? Seek learning opportunities. Continuously look for ways to enhance your skills and knowledge through courses, workshops, or mentorship. Adapt and evolve. Be open to modifying your approaches based on new insights or changing circumstances. Conclusion: embracing critical thinking as a way of life. Mastering critical thinking is not merely about acquiring skills, it's about adopting a mindset that values inquiry, reflection, and informed action. By integrating the principles and frameworks discussed in this book, you can navigate the complexities of daily life and professional environments with greater confidence and efficacy. As you move forward, remember that critical thinking is a lifelong journey. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the successes, and commit to continuous learning. With these tools, you are well equipped to think smartly and act wisely in pursuit of your goals and aspirations. Action steps: your critical thinking journey. Set a SMART goal. Identify a specific area where you want to apply critical thinking skills in the next month. Create an action plan. Develop a detailed plan outlining how you will achieve this goal. Reflect on progress. After 1 month, review your experiences and reflect on what you learned about applying critical thinking. Share your insights. Discuss your experiences with others to foster a culture of critical thinking and collaborative learning. By following these steps, you'll ensure that critical thinking remains an integral part of your approach to life and work, leading to ongoing success and fulfillment.